Remain standing as Vice President of the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association and the grandson of the late Dr. Billy Graham, Will Graham, offers today's invocation.
Dear Heavenly Father and our God, we thank that you have spared us and blessed us with life and health to enjoy this day that you have made. We ask for your spiritual guidance for each of us, whether spectator or participant, that we may be able to discern your wills in the days ahead. Give us the wisdom you have promised to those who ask and the strength that you alone can give. We've made a mess of our lives apart from you, but we ask for your forgiveness right now. We commit this race, these drivers, and these teams into your hands. In the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior, we pray. Amen.
Here on America, with the singing of our national anthem, please welcome CMT's next artist discovery and current American Idol contestant from Houston, Texas, Julia Cole.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We've had 6 different winners this season, and there's a good chance we might have another one here today. It's a picture-perfect day here in Bristol, Tennessee, and it's one of the most famous racetracks in the world. Bristol Motor Speedway for Xfinity Series racing. The weather, well, it's pretty fantastic out there. It's mid-70s and the weather is absolutely great. It is time to meet today's guest analyst. For Joey Logano, things are definitely looking up. He's a winner both on and off the racetrack. This was a busy offseason. Along with his wife, Brittany, the 27-year-old driver became a parent with the arrival of son Hudson in January. He's won twice in the Xfinity and Cup Series. That's a total of 4 at Bristol. So don't be surprised to see him in victory lane tomorrow. He starts 10th when that race does get going. As for right now, Joey's in the broadcast booth with Adam Alexander and Michael Waltrip. First time this season for you, Joey. But I do want to ask you, Adam, you said that Joey's victories trumped Michael's. What is that all about?
No question. And I've got to believe that Michael will agree, because when Joey won here a few years ago, he led all 300 laps. What's different today? We got the Bristol Bite, that traction compound. What's that going to do to change things?
That Bristol Bite will change about everything, and it'll change as the race goes. Right now, it's kind of like if you went down the road in the trails, like through the mountains and stuff, and you notice there's an area that the tires don't touch. That's what it's like with the rubber on the racetrack. And as that wears off, the top's going to clean up. It's going to keep getting faster.
I mean, it's going to be crazy, Adam. We've talked about it all weekend long. There's going to be bump and run. You got to knock people out of the way if you're going to pass them. And these guys won't be patient, so just be ready for a lot of action when they throw that green flag.
And 4 drivers going for $100,000 via the Dash for Cash. What's your line again, Michael?
Show me the money.
What was that? I didn't hear you loud enough.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. All right, let's get the command of fire engines live in Bristol, Tennessee. It's time for 300 laps at Thunder Valley, so let's get geared up on FS1.
Marsha Blackburn.
Drivers, start your engines.
And now the engines have fired, and we are set for 300 laps. It's our first short track race of 2018, so let's get geared up on FS1.
Just got done qualifying at Bristol. Not the run we wanted, 21st, so we're gonna have to battle all day to get to the front.
I think our Trinity Camaro is going to work its way up to the front pretty quick here in the race, so hope to have a good day at Bristol here. It's going to be a long one and a hot one, so we'll see what happens.
It's gonna be a really fun day. Really cool to have the title sponsor of the race on our race car.
We're up here in the suites. We have one fan that's been going here for 11 years and hasn't missed a race, so it's awesome the fans that we have at Bristol. Hopefully we can have a good race today.
This Bristol, baby, that's what it's all about. 300 laps around this place. Let's see who can keep their temper under control and get a victory lap.
It's race day in Bristol, Tennessee.
It's small, it's fast, it is crowded. Bristol.
There's no other track anywhere like it.
They get ready to face this 1.5 mile, this high-banked monster.
It is a dash for cash race.
It's bad fast. Big trouble.
Oh, contact. Let's get geared up from Thunder Valley.
It's Bristol time, baby.
NASCAR Xfinity teams hitting the high banks for the 72nd time. Bristol Motor Speedway, one of the unique venues in all of sports. From the driver's seat today, Ryan Preece, driver 18. He's 27 years old, out of Connecticut, so you know he's a Red Sox fan. He's been comfortable behind the wheel from a young age. He likes cars, he likes horses. He'll compete on anything. He's always fast, including modifieds, where he is a champion, has a win in a modified here at Bristol Motor Speedway. He is married, and today he's hoping to win an additional $100,000 in the dash for cash. Let's hear from him.
That's right. Let's check in. Ryan Preece, is Joey Logano up in the booth? You got a copy?
Yep, I got you, Joey.
Hey, man, you look pretty good out there. You got some experience at this racetrack, maybe not in an Xfinity car and that modified, and be able to win there. How different is this Xfinity car from that modified?
Well, they're heavier, they got less tire, so everything just kind of seems a little bit slower to me. Where a modified, you're going about a second quicker. But, you know, it's a different challenge. I know we got a pretty good Reen Toyota Camry, and even though we're starting 7th, I fully expect to be driving forward.
Well, have fun out there. I know the track's going to be changing. Have a good time trying to keep up with it.
10-4, thank you.
Pre-starting 7th, he and the other dash for cash drivers highlighted in red on our scoring pylon as we head to pit road. Check in with Jamie Lilly.
Well, the 00, Cole Custer, he's been on a roll lately, coming off his best career finish last week of 4th, and 2 hours ago captured his first career pole. Now, I talked to Jeff Mendering, his crew chief, and he said today is big. You guys mentioned it, the dash for cash. He said if we can win that money, $100 grand is big for an Xfinity Series team. Now let's check in with Regan Smith. Here's Regan's wrap.
Well, thank you, Jamie. 13 different drivers today are going to make their Xfinity Series debut at Bristol. It's a tight racetrack. The bottom groove has been the preferred groove, and they want to try and keep their cars down there, as well as veterans trying to rough them up and get them out of the way. That reminds me of my first trip here. There's a veteran roughing me up on the racetrack. That dream machine of Michael Waltrip's, it was the cause of many nightmares for me for years.
I'm just glad that Regan's got the neck brace off, you know, all these years later.
Every time I see Regan in the TV compound, I always wonder if he remembers when I hit him here at Bristol and he had that crash.
How many times have you dumped him?
That just once. And you could see his car was already wrecked. I think, you know, it was just
he wasn't your way?
Wasn't keeping the pace he needed.
You'll see a lot of that today.
Hey, there are the numbers. Stage 1 and 2, 85 laps, 130 lap run to the checkers. Number of drivers going to the back. Ryan Sieg, J.J. Yaley, driver swap there over at Sieg Racing, and then Mike Lynette, who made an unapproved adjustment, also dropping to the rear.
Let's go have ourselves a good day. Go have some fun and try to rebound and get in that next dash for cash. So appreciate all the hard work. Glad we're up here on the front row. Hopefully we can get one spot better when this thing's over.
Joey, he's on the front row, but he's on that outside. What do you think is going to happen when they rush down into turn 1, trying to go too wide?
I don't think he's in a bad spot, but I think after about 2 laps, he better find that bottom, because that bottom's going to start freight train and running really well. But I got my money on Justin Allgaier today. I think he's going to be fast.
Buckle up tight. We are going green at Bristol Motor Speedway.
You see Justin's able to get down there. It takes a couple laps for this Bristol grip on the bottom to be able to come in.
Custer out of shape. Almost looked like there was contact from behind. We'll have to get a better look at that. Settles in line in front of the 20 of Christopher Bell. He's still struggling to find the momentum, Michael.
It's just a crazy phenomenon, the way these things slip and slide for a few laps until that traction compound on the bottom heats up a little bit, and that's when they start ringing the bottom, like Joey said. And when you ring the bottom, that's when it becomes difficult to pass, and we'll see bumping and running.
You're going to see that for a while, and you're going to see it start to clump up. And there you see Ryan Preece get a little bit out of the groove. Now he's going to have a hard time trying to get back down to the bottom here, but here's where the 3 car on the bottom is going to be.
Ooh. That's so close. Shane Lee has just been so solid. This is his first start ever at Bristol, and it's his first Xfinity race. And how impressive has that kid been? 24 years old, driving the Childress Vineyards car.
And there you see how important it is for Ryan Preece to try to get to the bottom. He chopped his way right in there.
Here's what happened at the start.
Caution down, spin behind.
And as we see that, the caution is out for the first time today. Among those involved, the 51 of Jeremy Clements, 36 of Alex LeBay.
Looks like a little bit of damage there for Ty Majeski. Casgrala, such a shame for that team.
Oh, wow. Chase Briscoe, heavy damage on the left front.
It tore a lot of them up. That's when, you know, when you have a restart like that, or an initial start at least, you have all these cars in a wad, and all it takes is one to mess up a little bit, and there's no way to stop soon enough.
And we predicted this. We knew how difficult this race was going to be for these racers. Running around the bottom of the track, trying to make progress.
Started there with Christopher Bell. Got out of shape, into the wall in the 20, one of our pre-race favorites.
It almost looked like something went wrong to his car. He just shot up the racetrack, and then everyone checking up behind him.
I could just hear the spotters for everyone behind Bell. Check up, check up, check up. And when they did, this happened. Casgrala in the 24, the 60 of Ty Majeski also going for a ride.
Looks like Alex LeBay never really hit anything hard in that 36 car, so he'll be able to continue. Good job.
Ryan Truex getting through there. This is going to be a great view right here.
Oh, it is.
Checking up up top.
I told you I could hear that.
Which is nowhere the spotter can tell you where to go in that moment. It's just, look out.
Watch the visor cam here. This is going to be a great view as well.
That view's not as great.
No, that's not a great view.
That hurt.
He got a lot of damage right there. He got hit from behind and the front.
I think something broke or maybe some issue on the 20 car that went into the outside wall.
I mean, for it to shoot up that quick off the racetrack, you got to think maybe a tire blew, something broke in the front suspension. It shot up the racetrack really quick.
Good to see Clements out of the car here, Mike.
He was into a bit of a crash yesterday, so maybe something residual from that.
Yeah, they had repaired it, qualified up front, but as you said, he didn't get many laps on track in that qualifying session, never went back out in practice yesterday after that fender bender you talked about, Michael. So an early caution. It's Justin Allgaier, Henrik, Custer, Brandon Jones, John Hunter, Nemechek, the top 5.
Racing for $100,000 will definitely add a little bit of pressure.
Just kind of bring your focus up and you bring your intensity up.
Going for the 100,000 this weekend, it's a big deal to me.
Playing the last few laps can probably be a little bit more aggressive.
I'm definitely going to be thinking about it in the last 5 laps if we have a chance to win it. Got to come here, execute, do our jobs to the best of our abilities, and if we do that, we'll have a good shot to walk away from here with a little bit of cash coming out of our pockets.
Under caution early. Let's update those Dash for Cash drivers. Henrik is second, Custer is third, Preece is seventh, and Christopher Bell among those involved in our lap 4 crash. That's the reason we're seeing the yellow flag early.
Wow, and they piled up, didn't they? We rode along with Chase Briscoe, what he saw. Ty Majeski, a little bit damage there to the 60 car.
This is a hard place to repair your car. The track's so small. If you come in, towards the end of the field, the leaders are maybe 10 seconds behind that. So you don't have much time to be able to fix your car and not go down a lap.
What's up with Briscoe, Regan?
Well, heavy damage to the left front of Chase Briscoe's car, Adam. What they're going to do is pit multiple times, as Joey just talked about, to try and fix this car up. They're not worried about the early stages of this race. They've already said we're going to pit a bunch early on, fix this car, even if it means we have to do it during the competition yellow or the stage yellows, and just try to have an opportunity to race at the end of this race.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They have some things going for them here, in that they know they're going to get another caution at lap 40, a competition caution issued by NASCAR, and then the one at lap 85 to end stage 1. That could help all these teams that had early problems. Cole Custer started on the pole, first time in his career. The beginning of this race did not go at all like he had hoped.
No, you see Justin get on his door, and the cars are loose into the corners right before the banking. And like I said, that Bristol bite on the bottom takes a little bit of time to come in. He gets loose there and all but crashes. And it's going to take him a few laps to kind of get back under control.
Really good job for the 21 of Daniel Henrik to stay off of him there. And here's how the caution began. 20 of Christopher Bell up into the wall.
Was that a right front going down? I mean, It wasn't an abrupt hit into the wall, but watch these guys stack up behind them. The spotters are doing the best they can to warn them of trouble ahead, but there just simply isn't any way. Joey, when you're buried down in the middle of the corner, you have no idea what's going on coming up off the turn.
Now, there's only so much you can see with that banking. Where your eyesight is almost looking through the roof to be able to see far ahead. And like I said, when you're bumper to bumper with someone and they start crashing in front of you, you can't check up quick enough. And here's another look at Ryan Truex. Does an amazing job here, slowing down, watching the crash, and getting through, and not getting hit from behind. That's the amazing part.
That's about as good as it gets, isn't it? Missing a wreck.
That's pretty lucky.
This is the other end of it. I mean, you could see there, all Briscoe knew, the cars in front of them were fine, and then they just stacked up.
Only other thought I had there, 00 gets loose. Henrik gets around him. Could there have been contact between Henrik and the 21, Bell and the 20, that ultimately cut that tire down? I'm just trying to hypothesize what may have taken place that sent him shooting into the wall there.
Possibly. Race cars just don't take off to the right without something going wrong. You see the back end take off, but not the front very often unless something's broken.
What a start, huh? And as Michael said, we predicted this. We said the over-under on cautions in stage 1, 3.5. We're pacing quite nicely for the over right now. Under caution early, Bristol Motor Speedway hosting the NASCAR Xfinity Series, 7th race of 2018. Justin Allgaier started on the front row, took the lead early. Henrik, Custer, Brandon Jones, John Hunter, Nemechek the top 5. Let's look at the start of this race because a caution began with a 20 of Christopher Bell. We thought perhaps there was contact right there that could have cut down his right front tire. That not the case. We have since gotten a report from Goodyear. It was a rub on a suspension part that cut the tire, sent him wide.
And I think what's happening right now is Goodyear brought a different construction tire to the racetrack here, and what it is the sidewall is not as stiff and it's flexing more. And when you go into the corners, the sidewall flexes and it's rubbing up into different suspension components inside that wheel well, and it cuts down the sidewall, which eventually obviously put him in the wall. Which who knows what else has been after he hit the wall now.
And you know, yesterday afternoon in practice, he got involved in a bit of a mix-up, did some damage to the right front of that car. So I wonder if the team was able to look in there, diagnose exactly what was rubbing, and he won't have any issues now, because that bump into the outside wall, it didn't look like probably did any additional damage to the car, and he was lightning fast in practice yesterday. See if he can rebound from this.
And those low air pressures is what's going to make that even worse. It's going to make the sidewalls flex even more.
Good news for Christopher Bell. He has been able to stay on the lead lap, scored in 28th right now. Let's look back at what happened yesterday, Michael. Maybe he can make something out of this.
Well, he said his brakes were fading, and just a barely little scrape on the right front, hit pretty hard with the left front. So it's interesting. You could see the team that he ran into wasn't too happy about all that, but to me, that's interesting that he had problems wrecking with the left front, issues with the right front today.
We'll watch Bell on the restart. NASCAR has moved the competition caution from lap 40 to lap 45. And a reminder, all these teams had the option to buy an additional set of tires, which would put 4 in the pits. Here we go with the restart. Allgaier, Henrik up front, row 2. Custer, Brandon Jones. Allgaier taking the outside lane. They appear to be maybe working together there, do you think?
I don't think so.
I just think that's where Allgaier
wanted.
Okay.
And I think you're going to see Justin go right back to the bottom right here.
Well, I guess the outside lane worked okay at the start of the race, right?
I think so. You can get better forward drive up there. You're able to hook up those rear tires, go through that gearbox a little quicker.
And that's on that initial launch, right? You can really jump, and you saw he cleared that inside row before he got to the turn.
Outside looking in, that's the 23 of Spencer Gallagher. You don't want to be up there over the course of a run.
But wow,
now
he's hanging in there pretty nicely. Going to lose another spot there.
I was gonna say, if you say so.
Get down.
Listen to his spotter.
22,
that's your shot.
You're good right there. All right, now let's get in our rhythm, bud. Get in our rhythm. Clear by 1 and 9.
That's Austin Cindric in the 22. He's able to slide down in front of him. Got behind Matt Tifft, who you saw driving up to the 8th position. That car is strong early again. And what about the 9 of Tyler Reddick? Not good in qualifying, already inside the top 15, side by side with his teammate, the 1 of Elliott Sadler, down on the inside lane.
And what you're going to see as this race keeps going and as this run becomes longer and longer, the rubber's going to start clumping up on the bottom of the racetrack. It's really warm out, and it starts to stick to the racetrack, and it loses grip actually where the most grip is right now. And that's when you're going to see the cars start moving up and then starting to clean up that top groove. And that's when you got to be ready to make those adjustments to the car, because the cars that are leading right now may not be able to stay up there if they don't make the right adjustments.
Let's go to the Care Center, Regan Smith.
Well, not the day that Jeremy Clements wanted. Jeremy, I know this race is often an opportunity race for smaller teams. How frustrating is it to be here right now?
Super frustrating. I just hate it for my guys. We had a super fast repairableVehicles.com Chevy today, just like Xfinity Internet, and it's just a shame it happened so early. I wanted to race. I told Brad from Repairable Vehicles that we had a super fast car and we were going to win today, so just sucks that it ended earlier, but looks like the 20 had a problem. Everybody bottlenecked up. I got hit from behind and sent off into it like a pinball, so unfortunately that was it, and I hate it for our guys. Hopefully we'll get her fixed and get ready for next week.
Disappointing day for Jeremy Clements. He'll try and rebound at Richmond next week, Adam.
Jeremy was right. The 20 had a problem. Stayed on the lead lap, restarted 31st, and he is in the 20th position. That car now 19th. He's fast.
Yeah, and that's a great sign. We know what's on the line for that team today. And what I'm seeing, Joey, on the track is more cars have been outside of the grip strip than they have been all weekend. I mean, we got guys running side by side up in that, and that's got to be cleaning up that outside groove like you spoke of.
They'll keep cleaning it up, and as it keeps running longer, the bottom will give up, actually, and you'll see more and more cars go up the racetrack, finding that grip right up by the wall.
Allgaier pulling away. His advantage over a second in front of the runner-up position. That's Henrik. Saw Brandon Jones knocking on his door a bit. Jones been good all weekend. You see the battle here. Got his first stage win last week at Texas Motor Speedway. He's done a really nice job early in 2018, and we got the spotter there on the 21 of Henrik. He's one of those 4 drivers in the dash for cash, going for 100 grand, and already Allgaier working at lap traffic.
And this is where it's going to get interesting. Lap traffic always comes into play here in Bristol. It doesn't take long to catch these slower cars, and it's going to be how you maneuver through this, keeping your car clean. But there's going to be some point, there's going to be a lap car that holds you up, and when you're going to see cars side by side, you're going to try to pick them off the slower car, and you'll see that more and more as this race goes on.
You talk about Brandon Jones. He's with a new team, and it's certainly worked well for him. And also Matt Tiff. They basically traded cars, and the 2018 season has started off well for both of them. There you see Christopher Bell working his way toward the front. He's up to 17th now, just picking them off one at a time, Adam.
You know, we know this kid's loaded with talent, Christopher Bell, but days like today really show what you've got on the mental side, and he's not beating himself. They got behind the 8 ball. They put it on his shoulders a little bit early on, and he is flat getting it done. Low side, high side, trying to get back into the top 15 here.
And this is bringing a big smile to Joey Logano's face because Christopher Bell is making it work up in that second groove. It's already come in. He is picking them up and putting them down, never even trying to get under a guy, just going around the top of him.
Even the leader must have realized that his spotter did a good job telling him what's going on. And look at, he's going up top here making these passes. You can't afford to lose the momentum.
What's the balance? Patience, aggression. When you're in lap traffic, this isn't easy.
When you're looking at the leader in the mirror, there's no patience. You got to go. You have to stay on that lead lap, especially early in this race. You got to try to maintain what you got. And there you see him running in the door, the leader. That can cut down his left rear tire.
We haven't been green too long today. That early caution. He's already lapped up to the top 25. Meanwhile, the runner-up position, heavy lap traffic. Daniel Henrik in front of Brandon Jones. Jamie?
How about Daniel Henrik? Finished top 5 the last 2 weeks. I talked to Danny Stockman, his crew chief, yesterday, and he said the last couple of weeks we have shown such a turnaround since the last 2 years. He just didn't feel like they had that good raw speed at RCR that they have found. He was very confident coming into this weekend. They were second in final practice, qualified 4th, and he's on a move now, running second.
He's leading right now among those Dash for Cash drivers. He wants the $100,000, and all he has to do to get it is finish in front of the other 3. But more importantly, I think he wants a victory. He's never been to victory lane in either the truck or Xfinity series. Could be in position today. And some of those guys chasing him for the money. 00, Cole Custer, and the 18 of Ryan Priest, and right between him, that's Nemechek in the 42.
And Joey, you know, anytime you see a line of fast cars lined up behind another guy, your only choice eventually is to try to move him over just so gently to open up the door and get on by, and that's what we're seeing right now. These guys are bumper to bumper, holding each other up.
Yeah, and the spot on, like you said, it's going to start to give up a little bit, but they're being patient. They're waiting on the car in front of them to make the mistake. As this race goes, especially when the money window opens up, that's when the patience go out the window.
Few more laps. We're going to get that competition caution, Larry.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about strategy at this caution because you think about it, when we get to lap 45, that's only 32 green flag laps. Now, definitely the times are falling off, but I just wonder, with going back racing with roughly 30 laps before the end of stage 1, we may see a mixed bag of strategy here with drivers thinking about those stage points at the end of stage 1.
What do you think, Larry? Pit here and then stay out to the end of stage 2. This competition caution really gives you a lot of options.
Well, the only thing that would do, Adam, that you the only guaranteed next caution after that is 85 laps later. So, but after this caution, there's going to be one about 30 laps after we go back racing. I would tend to maybe stay out more here than at the end of stage 1.
Certainly a lot of decisions to be made. I don't think there's going to be any decision for Jason Ratcliffe on the 20 car. Leave it exactly the way it is.
Well, and Larry McReynolds, his calculator's smoking down there trying to think of all the scenarios, but Christopher Bell has raced his way all the way up to in contention for a top 10 spot. Joey, you know how important track position is. What would be your vote right now if you had to pit or not?
This would be the
That's why I'm not a crew chief. Glad I'm a driver. This one's a very challenging spot because if you look at what Christopher Bell is just doing, yes, he has a very fast car. He's going to move around the racetrack, but his tires are newer than everybody else's. Everyone else has to start on those qualifying tires, so he does have a little bit newer tire on that car, which makes him look even more of a standout than what he really may be. So this will be kind of interesting as tires get more equal throughout the field, and the decisions these guys are going to make here in a second is going to be split, I think, throughout the field.
Time to earn your money, Larry Mack.
Well, think about this. Christopher Bell, Jason Ratcliffe's, they went with right sides only during that repair, so that might even be an option. Maybe gain you a little track position.
First car 1 lap down as we get to this, the second caution of the day. The competition yellow is Joe Nemechek in the 15, scored in 20th. And we've been celebrating Christopher Bell, who brought out the caution early. What about Chase Briscoe? Big damage. I thought he might not be able to continue, stays on the lead lap. He's 18th with the caution being displayed here.
We couldn't lose him with our visor cam, Adam. That's just too good.
I'm glad we got him.
That's good TV right there. And can't believe how hard that car hit, and yet he's still able to keep the momentum.
And I think you might see more guys do 4 tires here, and you think the left sides have been wearing a lot with this this track grip on the bottom. It wears the tire out.
Here they are, Regan.
Well, heading down the pit road, Justin Allgaier hits his pit box, leading the race. He's very happy with his race car right now. His biggest issue, having some trouble with lap cars, as is always the situation at Bristol. Other than that, he's good. The 19 car of Brandon Jones, another strong run for him. He's free back to the gas. He's also trying to keep the race car cooled off. A little bit of temps rising as they roll around under yellow. Jamie Little.
And now they make their way around to the second pit road. The 00 making his way into his pit box. Had trouble early on in the start of this race, but the car has been okay. He's loose in the center, a little bit tight off. They'll make an air pressure adjustment and a 4-tire stop for Cole Custer.
When you pit here under caution, you enter off turn 2, drive all the way around, exit off of turn 1. John Hunter Nemechek had a fast car early, service on the 42, race off pit road, won by Cole Custer, +2 for him, taking only 2 tires. Allgaier gets 4, loses the top spot, and others playing the 2-tire game as well. And we understand there's a fire down there in the 00. Great service, but a scary moment for everyone down there.
You know, we talked about strategy. Custer took 2 left side tires. The tires are wearing on the left side. They decided to go for the 2 lefts, gain that track position, and it worked for them.
What did I say about Larry McReynolds? He's going to earn his money. Daniel Henrik, Danny Stockman, they say stay out under this caution. Just over 30 laps to go, stage one for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We're live in Bristol, Tennessee on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon. The weather forecast for tomorrow, not so hot. So NASCAR, Fox, and the racetrack has gotten together. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move everything up an hour. Race day begins on FS1, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Our coverage on Fox at 12:30 will go green shortly after 1 o'clock if the weather holds off. Daniel Henrik going to lead on the restart. Here's the reason why.
Perfect. So we did not pit. No, I told you both pits are open, and then Dave is telling you something, you're telling him something, we drove on past it.
So here's what happens. The caution comes out here. You don't have much time to talk about your race car and get on the pit road. So what happens is the caution comes out, the spotter's telling you where the crash is, what happened. Then the driver's trying to give a download on what the car is doing to his crew chief. And by the time you do that, you're at the pit commitment cone, and you have to make a decision on what you're going to do. And if you're still talking, the crew chief can't get that communication over to him.
And Cole Custer won the race off pit road. Big fire down in their pit area. Jamie, what's the story with Cole Custer and his group?
Well, you saw NASCAR with the fire extinguishers there. Look at the gas man, the far left side, his left foot catches on fire. I just went over, that's Andrew Migliozzi. He said, I didn't even know anything was happening. Those shoes that every crewman has to wear are fireproof, but he said, I started to feel some heat and looked down and saw the flames, but he said, no problem, I am good. They call him Mig, and he is one tough dude.
Great job by everyone down there. The safety workers exactly where they need to be, and we're happy that everyone's okay. As we get ready for the restart, reminder of our Dash for Cash drivers. Cole Custer, Daniel Henrik on the front row. Christopher Bell somehow has worked his way back to fourth. He got 2 tires on that stop. Ryan Preece going to go 7th. That's exactly where he started the race. Justin Allgaier, who dominated early, going from inside row 2.
I think it'll be interesting to see what Daniel Henrik can do here on some older tires and the qualifying lap. So this will be interesting to see how he can hang on.
You got a great jump. You nailed that earlier, Joey, when you talked about the launch that you can get on that outside lane. He's going to take advantage of it, get it to the bottom.
And that's the best thing that can happen for him. But, man, you can see how much faster the 20 is. Oh, it's not going to be long before he gets by him.
He just appears to be motivated. I mean,
wow.
he has been incredible. And what I love about him, he can take the car anywhere from 31st to the lead.
Clear.
Bell is on a roll.
I think that's going to be the car that's going to be leading a lot of this race right now, as fast as he is. But anything can change. Like I said, the track's going to change a lot too. So it might look good right now, but you just never know.
Wow, you could see the congestion there, like nearly a crash, and everybody got backed up, but everybody got slowed down and did a great job there.
The congestion there causing indigestion among the drivers in the booth. And there goes one around top left corner of your television screen, the 2 of Matt Tifft. Restarted inside the top 10.
Looked like Elliott Sadler maybe was a part of that.
You're good. Come on around.
Crash as well. See if we can catch what happened.
Yeah, that's.
Justin slid up into him a bit. And look, Sadler hit from behind by John Hunter Nemechek. What a great job by Ryan Preece slipping through in that 18 car.
And there's a good amount of damage to Elliott Sadler right there. And that's tight Bristol racing. The 2's trying to hold the bottom. Justin's trying to get back to the lead where he feels like he should be with his 4 tires, and just ran out of real estate.
Wow. Preece had her crossed up, didn't he, and was able to somehow regain control and not go into that inside wall.
All those guys were in the top 10 when that happened. Sadler hasn't finished outside the top 10 all season. And let's see here, look at the 42 of Nemechek and Sadler.
Oh.
They don't agree.
Well,
hey,
man.
I remind you, we're not even done with stage 1 yet.
Ooh, a little
That's when the spotter and the team needs to come in and say, boys, we got a long way to go. Adam Alexander just said we're not even to the end of stage 1 yet. What are y'all thinking out there?
Allgaier back down pit road, Regan.
Yeah, he's worried about the right front tire. Adam thinks it went flat when he had that contact on the backstretch right there. They're going to change right sides only and send him back onto the track.
If anybody should have been mad about what was going on, it was Matt Tifft. He just got sort of turned there off turn 2, but Elliott Sadler and John Hunter Nemechek aren't happy either. Jamie.
And Elliott Sadler, you look at it, doesn't look terrible, but the damage is actually causing all the temps to go up. Oil and water are pegged, according to Elliott. Not happy right now. It's been a tough couple of days for this team. Yesterday, they unloaded terrible. They were 32nd on the board. They couldn't figure out what the issue was. Got it a little bit better, but it just wasn't where it needs to be. They're looking at the damage primarily there on the right front. So trying to fix it. They'll try to open up the front end if they can to get through the end of this race.
Third caution of the day. Free pass goes to the 90 of Josh Williams. We'll have about 25 cars on the lead lap. Green flag when we return to Bristol.
I think they're the caution.
Going to be 21, make it 20 laps to go when we return to the green flag in stage one. And it was going to be 21 until Elliott Sadler stopped down here on the front straightaway. So we'll work through all of that. And as we do, let's look back. Third caution of the afternoon, and already some drivers starting to get a little angry here.
Well, there's just probably a Bristol racing incident, but you could see Elliott Sadler backed off the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek, just couldn't get slowed down in time and knocked Elliott into the outside wall. And I don't think Elliott thought too much of that.
No, and I don't know what else he could have done. You know, I mean, he's trying to avoid the crash. John Hunter's trying to avoid the crash, and you get caught up a lot. And I think we got some one radio here.
42 car running the back of me, tore my all to hell. Got a lot of front damage.
Yeah, that was pretty stupid. I don't think it's terrible. It's not knocked in a ton. I don't see any smoke. Got the right front tire real good though, Kevin.
And I think they went a lap down. That was why he stopped on the front straightaway. Didn't get off pit road in time. Had to stop on the track to get back into position.
He's going to restart 33rd, Michael.
Maybe he can put a Christopher Bell on him.
Bell in the lead now, jumping outside of Henrik. Nemechek up in that mix as well.
And Henrik's still on those old tires, so you know, maybe these guys with a few laps may help him a little bit.
Teammate having problems here. Caution once again for the 2 of Matt Tifft.
What a great start to the season it's been for Tiff, but was running really competitively. Just Bristol racing off turn 2. Got a little bit of help into the outside wall.
I'm fine. Thanks for the 7. Sorry, guys.
Oh, look who's fortunate there.
Yeah, I mean, just a few seconds earlier,
Elliott's
Elliott's going with him again. It's really broke this time. You can see that right front with all the camber. It looks like it's in it now. It's in trouble. Doesn't look pretty.
Caution number 4. Say it with me. It's Bristol, baby. And Christopher Bell, the race leader in Thunder Valley.
That stuff's all about gone.
If he wins this race, it's going to be a weekend that Christopher Bell will never forget. This final practice yesterday, 4-team not upset. Later, Bell said, hey, look, my brakes were going bad. Early in the event, after qualifying in the top 5, he goes into the wall 31st, and I thought maybe they're done. And then he rallies. Car is electric, eventually getting the top spot. Bell has been out front for 14 laps.
That car went hard into the outside wall, bounced off, and they were able to make repairs. Driven to the front. What an amazing performance. What an amazing 24 hours for that team.
Yeah, and I think something about it too is these composite bodies too. They kind of bend right back, and you know, you may bend some suspension pieces, but the body hangs in there.
Now they're not rubber, are they? They're
I don't know.
That one looked like it was, didn't it?
Yeah. Hey, we said Bell's leading. Most laps led today. Justin Allgaier 15th right now, Regan.
Justin Allgaier is 15th, Adam. He's having to battle back after that flat right front tire. Here we see the tire. It was definitely cut down. Goodyear gave him a spare tire to replace that tire for later on in the event, so he's not at a detriment because of that tire. When we pan over and we look at the left front tire that came off the car earlier, we see that there's very little tire tread left on the inside. That's why NASCAR opted to do the competition caution. These tires were wearing out fast, so a good call by NASCAR. these guys are set for the rest of the race now.
And Joey, that'll get better. Do you think when these cars put more rubber down, the tire wear will get better?
Yeah, it'll get better eventually. As that Bristol bite, whatever you want to call it, PJ1, there's so many names for it. As that stuff starts to wear off, you'll start to see cars move up the racetrack, and you know that Bristol bite is what's wearing the left side tires right now, so that'll get a little better as the race keeps going.
Here's something to watch for. Garrett Smithley got the free pass. He pitted here. So did Brandon Jones. Got to believe they'll play strategy and stay out at the end of stage 1, which is only going to be 12 laps away once we go green. You saw the tire there for Matt Tifft. He's out of the car, done for the afternoon. And watch Elliott Sadler on the restart. He's 29th, a lap down. Needs to pass 5 or 6 cars to get in position to get the free pass when the caution comes wrapping up this first stage.
And this is working pretty good for Henrik with all these cautions. Only 12 laps to the stage here, and he's still hanging in there with those old tires.
Bell outside lane, going to jump to the race lead.
Cole Custer, after that rough initial start, has settled in. He's in 3rd position. See John Hunter Nemechek, a really fast car he has, all over the back of Custer.
Nemechek never been here in an Xfinity car prior to this weekend, but great success when coming here in the Camping World Truck Series. And in his one truck start so far this season, half-mile track in Martinsville, he won.
He can get it done, that's for sure. I love when these kids show up. It reminds me of Joey Logano. Doesn't even look like they're old enough. Oh, look at this battle.
For the lead. Someone wants a playoff point.
He said, I don't need no tires.
And both these drivers involved in that dash for cash, $100,000 on the line.
Oh, I see another push there.
Keep working.
And look who's behind him. Custer in this mix as well. You gotta love this.
This is great. And right there, you see how that bottom's really hard to get off the corner in turn 4. You can work it off of turn 2 a little bit better than turn 4. And you see the 20 of Christopher Bell trying to run that top.
Another issue for Chase Briscoe involved in that early crash. He is inside the top 20 as the battle for the lead rages on.
It looked like Bell just went higher, Adam. He couldn't hold off Henrik by running right beside him. He went higher up the racetrack and gained more momentum and was able to drive around him.
He's able to give himself a little bit of breathing room here, get a little bit of air back on that spoiler. Even at the smaller racetrack, when cars get stuffed right up behind you like that, it still takes a lot of air off that spoiler and makes you loose.
Annette outside of Chastain. That's a position in the top 15. Reddick right there as well.
And what about Reddick? He's been a highlight reel this weekend in Bristol. Here comes Ryan Preece sideways on exit, forcing his way inside of John Hunter Nemechek.
If Preece gets there, all 4 of our Dash for Cash drivers going to be running in the top 4 position. Little contact for Nemechek. Cindric underneath him. Left of your screen, battle for the lead. 4 to go, stage 1.
And Ryan Preece just took that spot. He went in there and took it.
He said he was going to get aggressive with 4 or 5 laps to go.
Now here's a big issue. He can't see much with his dash flying up like that. That's going to be a problem. They're going to have to fix that during the pit stop.
Well, he's got all kinds of problems. Joey, his fender's falling off. His dash is blowing up.
Yeah, I guess the air is coming in from that fender and maybe blowing up into the dash. Man,
that's just mean. You're saying the guy's got all kinds of problems.
He's got some problems right now.
They started at lap 3, Adam.
I've never seen that. That's a new one for me.
That's usually what Michael says to me. You've got all kinds of problems. The biggest one, working with him.
Hey, how about all 4 the dash for cash? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Have they risen up or what?
Show me the money.
That's awesome.
Bell, 1 lap to go in this first stage. Henrik is 2nd and is dropped back. Custer 3rd, Preece is 4th. Cindric completes the top 5. Bell, one of 3 series regulars to win a stage in our first 6 races. Going to get his 2nd stage win of the year right here. The green and white checker is out. Stage 1 is complete. Bell, Henrik, Preece, and Cindric, your top 5. Nemechek dropped back to 6th.
That concludes stage 2.
Shane Lee making his debut as 7th. Ryan Reed, Ryan Truex, Justin Allgaier finished the top 10. What a wild first 85 laps that was from Bristol. I really don't know how, but in some way, Christopher Bell was able to win stage 1. And now that that's over, I need to take a deep breath. That was exciting, huh?
there was just so much that went on, Adam, and especially for that Bell team over the last 24 hours. They were in a wreck yesterday. We were able to rebound from that. He put it in the wall and won a stage. But there's also some other great stories back there. Ross Chastain, 14th. B.J. McLeod and Ryan Sieg, they both wrecked, and they're inside the top 15. That's great runs for those teams.
No question. And pit road is going to be open here. Undoubtedly, many of these teams are going to take an opportunity to get service as we have a caution for the 5th time today. Regan?
Our leader, Christopher Bell, hits his pit box. His car has been loose firing off at the start of runs. It got a little bit better as the runs went, but he's tight on exit as well. They're going to give him 4 tires and fuel with this race car. The 3 car of Shane Lee, he's got Ty Dillon helping on the roof today. His biggest complaint is he needs a water bottle. Shane Lee's not run very many of these long races. This is the first time for him, so they'll get him a water bottle and tires and send him as well. Jamie Little.
And the 21, Daniel Henrik, he made it into his pit box this time. Remember, he missed pit road last time. This will be his first pit stop. They pull a tear off. It's a 4-tire stop. No chassis adjustments, just air pressure. Meanwhile, the 00 Cole Custer back in. The car has been pretty decent. They took left sides only on the first stop. A nice view right there from the crew. They work on the left. It'll be a 4-tire stop for Cole Custer.
Great stop for that team.
Race off pit road here. Going to be won by Ryan Reed, who took 2 tires. Bell did a nice job. Custer, Henrik, Cindric, the top 5.
That's a big move for Ryan Reed right there to put 2 tires on. Pretty gutsy. Depends on. It'd be interesting to see what his left side wear is, and if he put lefts on. I don't know if he did lefts or rights.
What's interesting about that, I think those crew chiefs down there noted what Henrik was able to do on those older tires, and that maybe even opened up their playbooks even more with more options as they race toward the checkered.
Ryan Preece last pitted at lap 48. He stays out. So does Justin Allgaier, who got service at lap 60, and Brandon Jones, as we anticipated, he stays on track. He last came down the pit lane at lap 69. Penalty for Cole Custer speeding on the pit lane.
Let's see if we can get a word with Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell, it's Michael Waltrip and Logano up here in the booth. You copy?
I got you.
Man, you really paid attention when I was showing you how to run that video game. Great job of racing back to the front and getting that stage win.
Yeah, man. It's got a really fast race car. GameStop Camry, it's really good. You know, it's a lot of fun to be able to pick through the traffic like that.
Well, it was fun for us to watch. Were you concerned when you hit the wall? Did you think your day might be over?
Oh, yeah, I thought it was done. I barely hit a guy there yesterday in practice and broke everything. Then I smashed the wall, and apparently it's okay. So I'll take that.
It's definitely okay, buddy. Have fun the rest of the day.
Well, hopefully we can get this top worked in, and then it'll be real fun.
I see you working it.
He's probably leading the trail on the way up top there.
Bell going to restart in the 5th position. Back in 18th right now on our scoreboard. Chase Briscoe, they had a lot of work to do here.
Take that thing off.
Free pass under this caution did go to Elliott Sadler, our points leader, 21st as we get set to go green. Back at Bristol, April 14th. On this day, did you know Abraham Lincoln was shot by John Wilkes Booth? 1910, President William Taft begins tradition of throwing out the first pitch on opening day. Titanic collides with an iceberg and sinks on its maiden voyage. Space Shuttle Columbia returns from orbit. And in 91, Rusty Wallace, third of 9 Cup wins here at Bristol. And we go now to our Ford Performance Track Facts. 72nd race here, 14 of the last 15, run 1 from a top 5 starting position. 8 wins here by Ford, by 8 different drivers. Last 8 races that Ford has won here by 8 different drivers. One of those, Joey Logano, who's watching the restart with us in the booth today, and jumping out front, Ryan Preece, who stayed out under that last caution.
Well, we talked about Henrik's strategy and how well it worked for that team, and Preece's group said, let's give that a whirl, and it looks like he's doing a nice job on this restart.
Yeah, especially as he gets that gap right now, he can start running his pace, not have to wear everything off, and not to mention Ryan Reed's got 2 tires on us, so that cushion he's got right now to the 4 tire cars is looking good for him.
Top 5 on the restart, 5 different strategy plays. When you look at when they last pitted and how they're managing this race. For position, Daniel Henrik inside of Justin Allgaier. Reed goes wide. Here comes Jones. Contact, and Allgaier goes sideways. Caution is out. 6th time today.
John Hunter Nemechek getting...
Get it fired up and roll if you can here.
That looks like the first crash when
Tommy
everyone
Joe
just
Martins
ties into each other.
And what does the spotter say that creates that? Check up. Yep, that's it.
See Alex LeBay there driving off. Tommy Joe Martins is...
I think his wheels need to go the other way.
He might be stuck in the wall.
Stuck, yeah.
You know, the
I'm
car.
not sure he's got a reverse because those wheels were, I think they're going forward. There it is.
Found it.
Can't find it, grind it, right? Get it in there. Reverse.
Majeski got through that first crash nicely, but he's got issues now. Justin Allgaier from the high side to the low, and Brandon Jones was just right there. Nice job by Shane Lee again, getting by on the outside. Spencer Gallagher does a nice job, but then behind him, check up.
Everyone's trying to check up, and I think this all started when Allgaier was trying to pass Ryan Reed. Ryan went up the racetrack, got loose in front of Justin. Justin had a big run, going to come down the racetrack, but nope, somebody's there, and that's where they made the contact, and then here's in the back there. That's where the chaos begins.
Really frustrating for Nemechek. Been in the top 10, top 5 all day long. They had a long pit stop, went from 6th to 18th. On that last stop. That's why they're back there in the middle of the mess.
And when you change lanes like that, that's just aggressive racing at a short track. And that time it didn't work. And you could see a big shot into the right side of the 42 car for Nemechek.
You know who this was good for? Cole Custer. He was caught speeding. Had to start in the rear. He makes up a lot of track position here. And watch Elliott Sadler in the 1. It hits Chase Briscoe, who's used to being bounced around today. But Sadler maybe has a chance to get back in this thing now in the top 20. And what about Nemechek? We said they had a long stop that last time around, Jamie.
Yeah, and you mentioned he had been running top 5 all day long, but he got into the 18 before that last caution came out, and he had some front fender damage. That's what they were working on. Here is the stop right now. You see the damage on the left front. So they worked on that, took a little bit extra time, and that shuffled him back in the pack. Now he has trouble. Of course, you can imagine his radio. He said, I'm back here with the squirrels, and they apologize for that long stop, but they will come back in. He doesn't think that there's too much damage. They'll just fix it and continue.
Now, Jamie, to be fair, I said he was back there in the middle of the beehive. I did not say he was back there with the squirrels. I would not say that.
What about this? This is crazy how this race has developed, just like we were afraid it would, with a lot of contact, a lot of crashes, and so many fast race cars involved in accidents, and others that maybe aren't so fast have been able to fight their way up toward the top 10.
I like Ryan Preece's move. You stay up front. Maybe you don't have the best tires, but you're not in that bee's nest or back there with the squirrels, whatever you want to call it. He's not back there getting messed around with. He's got that clean air.
Listen to the names 11th to 15th. Ross Chastain, B.J. McLeod, Ryan Sieg, Garrett Smithley, Chase Briscoe. What a wild afternoon.
Dude, I had no chance. I mean, nothing. There's nothing we could have done. Don't worry about that one. It's part of his place. He ricked up into his left side a little. Well, he's pissed for no reason. There was nothing anybody could do there. 42 car running the back of me, tore my door to hell. Got a lot of front damage.
23 of 85 laps complete in stage 2. The leader is Ryan Preece under our 6th caution of the day. What do you think about their strategy, Larry Mack?
Adam, I thought it was a brilliant move by Eric Phillips because they pitted at lap 48 under the competition caution, and from that point until the end of stage 1, we only ran 15 green flag laps. I'm shocked more crew chiefs didn't try to go down this same road.
I've heard genius and smart connected to Eric Phillips a lot during his career, and that's another great example of it.
The question is, on those older tires, how is he going to react on the restart? We're going to find out. Green flag waving once again.
And Daniel Henrik, a great start and actually made the bottom work. He had a great restart through the gearbox and got through 1 and 2 and got the lead.
Look who's in 3rd. Shane Lee had never been in an Xfinity car prior to this weekend, and he is hanging tough, but Bell going to his outside.
Oh, Bell likes the top side. He's like the Kyle Larson of the Xfinity series right now, like in the top.
What about another car in the top 10, Ryan Sieg? He's back in the 10th place. He had a crash during qualifying, borrowed his teammate's car, Adam, and he's found his way into the top 10. And here comes Ryan Truex. We saw him weave his way through that wreck earlier. He's being rewarded for those great moves he made.
3 Ryans in the top 11 right now, in case you were scoring at home. Truex, Reed, and Sieg.
There's Sieg in that 38 car. He's sponsored by Lombard Gaming, Adam, but they didn't have any more decals, so his name isn't on the car, but that's who sponsored him.
Thank you for helping him out with their marketing campaign, Michael.
Well, we've done a nice job. We need to be rewarded for that.
Chase Briscoe. This guy's had absolutely everything go wrong. He's made, I think, more trips down pit road than he's made on the track lap-wise, and here he is inside the top 15.
Look how fast he's going now that he can see, Joey.
I'm better when I close my eyes.
Look at Spencer Gallagher, another solid run for the 23 car. Works his way inside of Shane Lee.
And our scoring pylon is always going to show you in red where our Dash for Cash drivers are. Top 3, Henrik, Preece, and Bell. On down to Cole Custer, 11th, after that speeding penalty a couple of cautions ago. Let's head to Jamie.
And Ty Majeski making his first start of the year, first of 12. Not 1, but 2 wrecks. What exactly happened there to put you out for the day?
Yeah, I think they wrecked on the front stretch, and I just couldn't check up in time and got caught up. Hit from behind, and then I hit the guys in front of me and tore up the front end of our car. But I thought we had a pretty decent Sunny D Ford Mustang. Just got caught up in that wreck early, went 2 laps down, and just couldn't really ever recover from that. It's so hard to get laps back here once you get caught 2 laps down, but we'll get them at Talladega. I can't thank Xfinity enough for all they do for sponsoring the series. Like I said, we'll go get them at Talladega.
4th career start today for Ty Majeski, as he said. We'll see him again in a couple of weeks. Talladega Super Speedway in Central Alabama. Ryan Reed has fallen back in the 16 to 13th. Chase Briscoe now 12th, and Ross Chastain up in 11th as we look at those drivers just outside the top 10. Justin Allgaier back in 19th. He had a run in earlier with Matt Tifft, and Regan Smith caught up with Matt.
Matt Tiff's day ends a little earlier than he would like to end this afternoon. Matt, you guys have been strong on a streak of top 10 finishes. What happened out there?
Well, we were just, running about where I thought we kind of had for speed today, which was about a 5th, 6th place car, and I thought we were making good progress. And, the 7 was really strong earlier, and I don't know where he thought he needed to be that urgent and impatient. He just straight dumped us off of 2, and unfortunately that led to the right front being blown, which killed our car after that. But, there's a sense of urgency and a sense of stupidity in a move that he made there, and I just don't get it. He had plenty enough speed to keep on going, but it's a shame we're here. Really proud of our guys. We're bringing fast stuff week in and week out, and we thought we were going to have a great day with stage points and try to get a good finish, but we'll just have to go back and get them at Richmond, and, it's all we can do.
A frustrated Matt Tiff looking forward to Richmond.
Yeah, and you hate it for him because he said it. They have had speed. And updating Justin Allgaier, he's back up to 17th. They've had a number of issues today.
What am I doing wrong today, guys?
Nothing, man. It just closed too fast. Nothing you could have done there. We had a hole. We had to take it quicker, that's all.
And I cut down as quick as I could without wrecking this front. You called inside. I was already committed, we were already hitting. We're just going to run out of tires.
Well,
Yeah, maybe.
And fenders too, possibly. That's been a rough day for him. Oh, trouble on the front straightaway with Michael and Ned. There's something broken.
I think he's got a flat tire, maybe.
Pit road, come down the front.
Left rear.
Stay on the apron.
He's going to get on the apron, get down pit road, and we will stay green as we cross over in another lap or so, the middle portion of this second stage.
You can see the contact there, most likely that wheel mark cut that tire as contact with another car. He was running in the top 10, 7th position, and did a great job of hanging onto that car when that left rear went down.
Yeah, but unfortunately, while this thing stays green, they're clicking off laps. He's going to be down 3-4 laps at least by the time he's done with this pit stop.
And he was running up in the top 10, battling for position. You see him get wide, tire going down. Just nothing you can do about that here.
No, probably contact, like I said earlier. Put a cut in the left side of that tire. You talked about the sidewalls being a little bit different here, Joey. Maybe that had something to do with it.
What do you have for us, Larry?
Well, I just was listening to what Jason Burdett was telling Justin Allgaier, and we have over 170 laps to go, and he's absolutely right. Remember, 5 sets of tires, including what you qualified on when they gave them the set, and they only have 1 full set and a set of lefts laying in those pits with still over half the race to go. So he's absolutely spot on when he said they're going to be out of tires.
Updating the overall picture here, Daniel Henrik is leading, one of the Dash for Cash guys. And just a reminder, those 4 Dash for Cash drivers, they don't have to win the race. They just have to finish in front of the other 3 eligible. Ryan Preece is 2nd, Christopher Bell is 3rd. Then you got Brandon Jones and Shane Lee rounding out the top 5. Gallagher is 6th, and then 7th is Cole Custer, the other driver eligible for the $100,000 payout today. Remember, he had that speeding penalty, and they have really been doing a nice job since they incurred that a little bit earlier.
You know, Ryan Preece is still hanging out there. You know, we talked about, you know, Justin Allgaier running out of tires and how big of a deal it is. But, you know, at the same time, you got Ryan Preece out there on old tires, still running 2nd, which shows how fast his car has won. But also that tires maybe aren't giving up as much speed as we thought they would.
And it'd be interesting to see how that left rear tire or left side tire wear is on the car of Preece when they come to pit road. And will we put to bed any issues about having, Shane Lee trying to lap past Tommy Joe Martin, who got really loose down in the corner.
And that's where, you know, if you're a lead lap car and you see a car not only that's slower but with damage, you know, you kind of hope that they show you a little bit more room down into the corner, especially where the car is the loosest. The car is the loosest going down into the corner before you see that banking build up. And when there's a car right on your door, it's not easy to get in there, and you hope to have a little bit more room than that. And he did a good job hanging on to that thing and not ruining his day passing a lap car. That's one mistake you cannot afford to do here, is you got to be patient with those lap cars.
I'm going to go back to that tire thing for a minute. Top 2 right now, Henrik and Preece. Each of them have come down pit road only 1 time today. So should we get a run of cautions where drivers want to come down and get fresh tires, they could be sitting in a catbird seat when it comes to strategy late.
The only way that'll really work, Adam, is if we get a good run of a long green flag run at some point and we get a lot of cars a lap down. Track position is so important, you really can't afford to give it up, especially when you've seen all the speed from Henrik and Preece, the guys that have been able to stay out on those tires.
And with 33 laps to go in stage 2, we've got 19 drivers on the lead lap.
Straight back tight. 1 inside.
Elliott Sadler back in the top 10. They've done a nice job.
And right behind him, Ross Chastain being able to keep pace as well. You see Chastain racing on the inside of the 11 car of Truex and into the back of the 11 car of Truex. And look who's lurking. Allgaier.
Oh.
How about 3 wides?
Running out of space here.
What's that do to your heart rate, Joey?
It spikes it.
and Nemechek starting to come back to the front. 13th and looking to get 12th from Truex.
What about how they're just moving each other? Everybody's into the side, into the back. I mean, this is full contact NASCAR here at Bristol.
It sure is. And my question is, now that we've got a few laps under our belts now, it's starting to, you know, rubber. And when does that top start to play? When does that start to come in? We got 30 to go in this second stage here. You know, you're getting around lap cars. The track's going to stay cleaner because the lap cars are up there. And we got one going around in turn 3 here.
0-1 of Vinnie Miller. And Christopher Bell sideways. He's involved in the crash.
We're destroyed.
Yep.
Same thing as in practice.
Nope.
Wow.
Worse.
That's a lot worse.
All right, 10-4.
You hate that. He was running 3rd.
I know.
I tell you what, he got most of it in the door.
I see him getting out, though. I think he...
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. 74 Cody Ware involved. All this happening with just under 30 laps to go in stage number 2.
What did I just say? Full contact NASCAR at Bristol, and that's about as hard as you can hit. I mean, he slid sideways down in the corner with just no control and hard into those other cars.
Here's what's tough for Christopher Bell. Not only is he not going to win the $100,000 today, he's not going to be eligible when we go to Richmond Raceway on Friday night.
Is that roof buckled?
Didn't it look like the roof was buckled? Yeah.
I mean, you can see Christopher realizes he's hit really hard. A little bit slow there.
Had 4 cautions in stage 1 today. This only the second caution that we've had here in stage 2.
What an eventful weekend for Christopher Bell.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened as Ware gets work done on pit road. It all started with the 0-1 of Vinnie Miller, and then Ware and Bell came in from behind.
Oh, you could see Ware going to the bottom and clipped Miller, and they slide into the wall, and Bell just gets loose on entry and hard into those other 2 cars.
But he said it's just like yesterday in practice, which means he was dealing with brake issues, right? Am I reading that right?
As soon as he hits the brakes, that thing comes right around. And you don't use a whole bunch of brake here at Bristol. I mean, you use some, but not a lot. And man, once it gets sideways, you're out of control. There's nothing you can do. But you know, man, it took right off on him. Here's a good view of Christopher Bell.
Watch Bell. And it just looked like brakes might have caused that car to come around. You think, Joey?
Yeah, it's just maybe too much bias one way or something.
Watch these 2 cars as they come down into the corner. Make sure that's them. Yes, that's the cars. Watch as they come in the corner. The black one dives to the bottom and hits the red car. That's Vinnie Miller into the outside wall. And you can see before he even really got down in the corner, Bell was sideways.
It just makes me think that his brakes were on edge already, and when he went to press them all the way, man, it just seems like the car just stepped out. You see Ryan Priest, that was right in front of him, was able to clear that, so something was kind of funky there.
7th caution of the afternoon. Stage 2 is not over. The record here is 14, in case you were wondering.
Halfway there.
Wild, and it certainly has been today. Started early with Christopher Bell, who's had quite a weekend, hit the wall, and tons of guys collected behind him.
Yeah, remember Christopher Bell, one of our Dash for Cash drivers, 6 drivers involved, including Ty Majeski and Chase Briscoe.
Under the caution, Cole Custer's crew, there's a little fire down there. They were able to put that out, and nobody got hurt, thank goodness, because that's a scary moment. Then on lap 58, Justin Allgaier gets in a Matt Tiff, brings out the caution, and then a little exchange of pleasantries between the one of Elliott Sadler and the 42 of John Hunter Nemechek.
Emotions, tempers, and then right here on lap 101, Justin Allgaier gets into another accident with Brandon Jones. It's amazing here as we're almost halfway through this race that Justin Allgaier is inside the top 10.
We are currently under a red flag because of this incident that we just saw. Christopher Bell gets collected somehow. The guys were talking about possibly brake issues because that car just whipped around. A hard hit for the 20 of Christopher Bell, who was certainly one of the favorites in this race. He's already been able to lead 34 laps, but is certainly done for the day. And you see him getting out of the car right there, so he is okay despite the fact that that car is absolutely destroyed. Okay, Larry Mack, I know you love talking strategy, so let's do it. You just mentioned to me 20 laps till the end of stage 2. This could set us up for some strategy.
Well, I think it could because we saw Daniel Henrik stay out at the competition caution and he performed well. Ryan Preece stayed out at the end of stage 1. And right now we're kind of in that zone. We have 33 laps on the tires for everyone that pitted for 4 tires at the end of stage 1. And we're going to go back racing with about 20 laps to go in this stage. So I truly believe you're going to see some drivers stay out. You're going to see some drivers change 4 tires. But just remember, we still have this race to go. And we've already heard Jason Burdett tell Justin Allgaier, we're going to run out of tires if we're not careful.
Let's take a listen to what the crew chiefs downstairs have to say about this issue. Jamie Little standing by.
And Danny Stockman, you guys just mentioned it, the 21 crew chief. I know you didn't mean to stay out at the competition caution, but now that this caution is out, what do you do strategy-wise?
Well, you know, our car's good, so right here I believe we're going to stay out, and we're going to have about, I don't know, 30 laps until the competition caution at lap 70. Our car takes off really good. We need a little bit more long run speed, I feel like. We have some adjustments that we're going to make for that. But all in all, it's been a good weekend so far, and it's been fun seeing the progression here.
Daniel Henrik going for his first Xfinity Series win. Shannon?
Daniel Henrik was able to get some money last year. You know, we talk about, Larry, this crew chief and the decision that they have to make up on top of that pit box, and that is one of the guys who's really getting it done today.
I think it's safe to say he is a driving trust behind Daniel Henrik because he won the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Championship with Austin Dillon. 2 years later, won the 2013 Xfinity Series Championship with Austin Dillon. He has 7 wins in the Xfinity Series with 3 different drivers, actually 12 races as a crew chief in the Cup Series. Daniel Henrik is going to get his first career win, and he's going to get it soon, maybe today, and I guarantee you Danny Stockman Jr., he's the driving trust that'll get him to that first win.
I know you have all those notes over there telling you how many tires guys have left, but when you see Henrik stay out, and you see Allgaier stay out, and they were still able to perform at a very high level. You heard Joey Logano talking about that. What does that tell you as a crew chief?
Well, Joey said it. The tires are maybe not giving up as much as we thought they were going to give up, but I just think track position is king, but also when you're up front, although Christopher Bell was running third when that just happened, when you're up front, you're staying out of the eye of the storm.
You know what's going to be the eye of the storm for some of the drivers? A couple weeks in Talladega, it is going to be drivers only. Mr. Logano, who's up there right now, is going to join the crew. Here's a preview. For it, Joey? How about it? It's Talladega, you know, it's going to be a lot different.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's, you know, it's a lot of fun. One of the most fun things is, though, is seeing Kevin Harvick nervous.
Does he boss you around a little bit? That happened
last time, and he calmed down eventually, but I've never seen that before, and I kind of enjoyed that part. So, you know, that and it's a big racetrack. What I'm learning up here right now at Bristol, things are happening really, really quick, and it's hard to get out what you want to say before the next caution happens or something else happens on the racetrack. So Talladega is, you know, a track just like Pocono last year that it gives us a little more room, especially under cautions, to get our thoughts straight and make sure we don't say something stupid, right?
You know what I love? We feel like we're pretty well directed, but when they're up there taking over the drivers only, I think it's a free-for-all, and no telling what's going to happen and what they might say or see.
I'm glad that we can be here today and help you rehearse for drivers only
this is
in a couple of
me.
weeks. We'll be on Fox 2 weeks from today. It's drivers only from Talladega. Jamie?
And Eric Phillips calling the shots for the 18er, Ryan Preece. What a race you guys are having today. Sitting second right now, do you feel like you're good enough to compete with that 21, perhaps take the win home?
I think so. I think we got the best car on the long run. Those guys all got tires on that last comp caution. We stayed out. We're just logging laps right now. I kept on him all weekend. We got to get to the end of that second stage, and then we'll start racing. With the way the racetrack's been and tire wear, I knew this was going to be a lot of old Bristol, and that's what we have right now. So there's been a lot of attrition. As long as we're there with about 50 to go, then I'll take my shot.
Thanks, Eric.
Ryan Preece is a racer. Top 5 in the Xfinity car. Last weekend at Texas. Flew back up to Thompson on Sunday afternoon from 27th to 4th in a modified. And here's Brandon Jones coming down pit road under caution. Pretty quiet here. Let's go down to Regan Smith.
Well, Brandon Jones continues this streak of good races for him. A stage win last week. He pits from 3rd place. The race car right now is loose on entry and 2 snug in the center, as well as 2 tight back to the gas. They're going to give him 4 tires right here and sending him on his way.
They've been a little bit out of balance today, doing what the others did not. And Justin Allgaier electing to come down and get service here as well.
Yeah, he talked about not having any tires or running out of them. They didn't change any there. Must have needed an adjustment, maybe something on the left front there. I didn't really see what they did.
I think they're working on the splitter. I was looking at it earlier. His splitter looked like it was hitting the racetrack pretty hard from some of the damage he had when he spun down the backstretch. I think they might have been jacking up the splitter, trying to bend it back up a little bit.
Well, we did have a mixed amount of strategy there with Brandon Jones coming to pit road. It's going to make that next stop really interesting. I think everybody will be on pit road then, Adam, and it means you better have a money stop.
What about Shane Lee? What's their thought process on strategy?
So you might be able to hold out on tires. You know, you're running far enough ahead now to have the best tires at the end of the race be good.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I'm a little worried about putting them on now.
Was that Ty Dillon chiming in on strategy?
That was,
there?
and I think he was talking to crew chief Nick Harrison. And what I love about Shane Lee and driving this 3 car, he's been looking so much forward to this opportunity, Adam, and all day yesterday, solid. He's been great today, and Ty Dillon has been there every step of the way. Not only when they got to the racetrack, but he took him to the simulator, helped him there as well, coached him through getting ready for this event. I mean, this is a big deal. It's a kid's first start in an Xfinity car, and he's running in the 3 car in 3rd place. That's pretty awesome so far.
And what a great team player Ty is, to take his time, go to sim with him, spend his time up on top of the roof or wherever he's at right now talking to him. You know, that helps a lot, especially your first time to Bristol, first time in an Xfinity car. There's nothing easy for Shane Lee today, and you know, that little bit of help that he has right now is going a long ways.
It just has to make him feel like part of the family to have that much attention being paid to this day for him.
Let's hear from Regan one more time.
Well, Christopher Bell's day ends early. First off, glad you're okay, Christopher. We've seen you have some trouble when you have to go to the brakes hard this weekend. Is that what happened again right there?
Well, I mean, I don't know. That's the second time this weekend I've crashed from guys going seconds off the pace, and I just can't slow down whenever they spin out. But frustrating. We had a really fast GameStop Camry, and I don't know, I was trying to get the top end pretty much all race long, and that was our worst run of the day handling wise, and we were still right there. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
One of the biggest challenges here, Adam, whenever something happens in front of you, it happens quick.
So one of our Dash for Cash contenders eliminated. Christopher Bell is out. The other 3 restarting in the top 5. Henrik Preece on the front row. Custer goes from 5th, and when we get the green, there will be 21 laps remaining in stage number 2.
That 21 car is very good getting up to speed. He was able to, you know, go take the lead from the bottom last time. This time he chooses the top and still able to maintain the lead here.
Adam, we've had 8 cautions, but I promise you I've seen 18 other ones that should have been cautions, and especially trouble for the 28, Dylan Lupton.
There's another one.
Come on. Get on the apron,
I was just going to say, especially on these restarts, because people are just slipping and sliding and running into each other.
There's not much grip and there's not much experience. The two things don't go very well together sometimes.
That's a tough combination, isn't it, Joey?
Yes.
Caution number 8.
28 just coming into the picture there. He's in the middle of the track, and something happens to that car. An oil line broke, a hole in the oil pan, big leak there, I think, that sent him into the wall.
I think so.
That car's had a tough go of it this weekend, Adam.
I remind you once again, the record for cautions at Bristol in an Xfinity race is 14. And we are just now at halfway.
9 in.
I want to just.
I think we're going to get it.
I think we're going to push the record for sure. But how many times have you seen a race here go through attrition early, and then all of a sudden things calm down, and you have that long green flag run, and could be a lengthy cleanup, some oil on the racetrack here?
I don't see that happening today. I think we're going to go strong all the way to the checker.
I'm just optimistic, I guess. Did you know that you're a big part of history with a 22 in this race this weekend? It's the 2,500th time that Roger Penske has had a car in a race competing somewhere in some series. Absolutely amazing, the stat line.
It really is, and it's such an honor to drive for him. And with Austin Cindric bringing home the 2,500 start for Roger Penske. You imagine that, how many races that really is, and Roger comes to a lot of them, all of them that he can, and so it's an honor to be, a part of the group of drivers, a part of the wins that he's had over those 50-something years. It's been pretty incredible.
I was going to say, he doesn't just enter, he wins. 2,500 events entered, 480 victories among 49 different drivers. That's 19%. 100%.
And that's just amazing. And what a gentleman Mr. Penske is. And the fact that he comes to these races, the captain hangs out down on pit road. He's a living legend. And I think everybody just appreciates what all he's done and appreciates when he shows up for the NASCAR races.
Yeah, he always says, I don't have a golf game. He goes, I like to go racing. And that's my type of person right there. It's very impressive what he does. Not only what he does, as far as the race team side, but the racetrack side. He built Michigan and Fontana out there at Auto Club Speedway, and owned a bunch of other racetracks. So he's done so much in our sport.
And next month, he will try and win his 17th Indianapolis 500. There's the 22 of Austin Cindric running in the top 5 here today. So great weather in Bristol, Tennessee this afternoon. Unfortunately, weather forecast doesn't look great for tomorrow. So Fox got together with NASCAR and the folks here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Going to move everything up an hour. Race day on FS1 happens 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Our Cup race coverage on Fox at 12:30 will go green, hopefully, shortly after 1 o'clock Eastern time here at Bristol tomorrow. We're past halfway in this race. 13 laps to go in stage number 2. Going to have a nice little shootout when the green flag goes back in the air. And Brandon Jones is playing some interesting strategy games today, Regan.
Well, they are playing some strategy. Chris Gabehart, you pitted under that last caution. You told me last week at Texas you were going to be aggressive and offensive with this race car to give your driver the opportunity to get out front some. Is that what you're doing there?
Well, to be honest with you, I thought we would have been on sequence there. I'm not going to lie, but as it turns out, we're off. But little foreshadowing, we're going to be off sequence again here in a minute.
Well, there we go. Sometimes the plan works out.
Guess what he's going to do?
They're going to stay out.
Yeah, I think so. When the caution comes out, they're going to stay out and cycle themselves up there. It's actually going to be a great move for them.
How about Gallagher today, Jamie?
Spencer Gallagher third right now, and despite all the stop and go with all the cautions, the Las Vegan keeping it light.
What the world needs now is dry, speedy drive.
Now, Bubba Wallace got in trouble a couple of weeks ago for singing on the radio. Drew Blickensderfer said none of that, but under caution, I think that's permitted, right?
And plus, you got to make the moment light. There's been a lot of caution laps run here, and Spencer's just trying to have a little bit of fun. And I'm telling you, Adam, yesterday was the best day of practice I've seen for that team. And we know that each week they've just gotten better and better, and now he's backing it up with a run inside the top 5. I would be singing about that too.
Did you used to sing in the car and joke around a lot?
Well, during caution flags,
Did you?
But I always knew that when they threw the green flag, especially here at Bristol, anything could happen.
Yeah.
So you can sing and dance.
You'll change your tune in a hurry.
Are you
here
going
at
to show us
Bristol.
something here?
Hey, fill up the Speedy Dry truck, and let's celebrate 4th place Shane Lee.
But I ain't the damn crew chief. I'm just driver coach. I'm just good on my driver coach. I ain't gonna screw up the crew chief.
Yeah, and your driving coach, one minute you're telling him, hey, let's be good here, behave, and the next thing you're telling him, don't give this guy nothing. You don't know him.
Yeah, I can't help it.
That's the driver, not the driver coach. That's the driver.
Yeah, I start blending lines.
At what point does Shane Lee have to tune all that out?
Well, the good thing is it sounds like this on probably Channel 2 that Shane probably can't hear that going on back and forth, but it's pretty funny because it's hard. So a lot of times as the driver, you're standing out here saying, why didn't you do that? Or why didn't you do that? And then you're in the car, you realize why you can't or what's going on. Maybe something Shane's fighting inside the car that nobody else knows. But it's pretty funny, though. They must have a good relationship with the crew chief to be joking around like that.
I've just been so impressed with Lee. How fun has this been? First Xfinity race, and I just can't get over the performance, the speed, and the job that he's done staying out of trouble as well.
Very good, yeah.
Daniel Henrik going to lead on this restart. Ryan Preece is second. Spencer Gallagher third. We talked about Shane Lee in fourth. Austin Cindric having a great day. He is in the 5th position. Cole Custer has worked back to 6th after that speeding penalty. Nice afternoon for Ross Chastain. He is 7th. Elliott Sadler was a lap down after a couple of incidents. He is now 8th. Ryan Truex 9th. John Hunter Nemechek has had some adversity. He will be 10th on the restart. It comes with 9 laps remaining in our second stage. We're going to have another caution before the end of the stage, or we're going to go green here?
I hope not, but I think so. I mean, this is pretty important stuff that we're going to see here.
Henrik in that outside lane jumping away. Shane Lee following his teammate. They're bottled up once again.
Nice job by Preece getting off turn 2 and grabbing that second position. Cole Custer looked inside of Lee. He slides up the hill. Nice run off the corner by Shane.
Custer looking to go 6th to 3rd on the restart. Chastain trying to work his way toward the top 5. Nemechek getting aggressive. Allgaier back in the hunt. This is entertaining. And for the top spot, a reminder, Priest last pitted at lap 48. Bump and run, 7 to go in stage 2, and they're side by side for the top spot. No more. Priest out front.
What about Ross Chastain on the right side of the screen? He's got a solid run inside the top 10. Cole Custer's still gnawing on that left rear of Shane Lee.
Sadler right behind that bunch.
There's so many battles going on the racetrack right now. It is hard to keep up with everything.
Stage 1 today went to Christopher Bell, so Joe Gibbs Racing got it done there, and they own the top spot with 5 laps to go in stage 2.
You see Shane Lee just running up the racetrack a little bit. It may hurt him a little bit off of turn 2, but it's kind of a defensive line for him. It's hard to make that pass happen on the bottom right now as that Bristol bite goes away.
He got a little bit loose on entry, but you're right, Joey. He takes advantage of that momentum on exit and is able to drive ahead of Custer.
Looked like there was almost contact for Sadler and Gallagher. Here's the 0-0 again. Custer might get him this time. Man, Lee's working hard in that outside lane.
Watch this run. He gets off the corner, able just to ease ahead slightly of Custer there. Cole's making ground, though.
And this is where it's hard for Cole Custer. You got to be patient down there. You want to go. You're looking at the cars behind you. You don't want to make too many big moves because you may get passed while you're trying to pass another car. So making the right moves at the right time, knowing where the cars are around you is ultra important. And there you
Nemechek going, Custer going sideways. He saves it. Going to lose a ton of position. Truex Gallagher driving by. Here comes the 98 of Chase Briscoe.
And that's a lot of points with 1 lap to go in the stage here.
Yep, final lap, stage number 2. Out front is Ryan Preece, and back behind him is Daniel Henrik. And it looks like that's how they will finish this second stage. Second career stage win for Ryan Preece. Henrik in the runner-up spot. And here's what happens behind him. Justin Allgaier. How in the world did he get to 3rd? Shane Lee was 4th, Cindric 5th.
I think
Nemechek 6th.
I think Nemechek 6th. Where'd he come from? That's just a great recovery for that team. I think Elliott Sadler might have cut a right front tire at him when he went down in the corner and eased into the side of Cole Custer. He fell all the way back to the 15th position there in those last couple of laps.
Chastain top 10, Ryan Truex, Gallagher, Briscoe all getting points. Custer ends up 13th, Sadler all the way back in the 15th position. Let's look at it one more time.
Well, this is what I was talking about. Elliott gets on the inside and slides that left front tire, and I think probably maybe flattened it or at least flat spotted it where he couldn't go.
Yeah, he definitely slid that tire for a long, long time. And you know, Cole Custer's doing such a great job. He came back up after that penalty and got, right back into where he's going to score some good stage points. And then,
what about that save, though? Was that beautiful or what?
It was great. No damage to his car. Looks like he's good to go. He's going to have to pass some more cars again.
Good job here for Truex to get through this and finish inside the top 10, get some stage points.
Keep coming, still green. Keep coming, still green. Outside 23.
Adam, would you give me, we almost had a caution there.
Outside 23. Clear on 23.
A half a caution.
Still green.
Here they come. Pit road's open, Regan.
Well, the 3 car of Shane Lee gets into his pit box right here. His car has been loose on the bottom on entry. They're going to give him 4 tires, fuel, and a little bit of an air adjustment. Justin Allgaier continues a great run through the field after a rough day. He's happy with his race car, no adjustments. And the crew chief said, guys, you can change your stop if you want to. A little strategy play for the pit crew there. Jamie?
And the 21 of Daniel Henrik just got too loose, especially at the end of that run. It'll be a 4-tire stop. Ryan Preece, as you can imagine, he came in as the leader, happy with the car, said it gets looser as he runs, but he likes it that way. Austin Cindric, first start in the 22 this year, said the car didn't fire off as tight as he needed it to be, so hearing a lot of these teams complaining about loose.
The race off pit road, you talk about Cindric, he's got that #1 pit stall because Ryan Blaney won the pole last weekend at Texas Motor Speedway, and the #1 pit stall paying dividends here.
That.
+4 for Cindric, -1 for Preece, Henrik, Allgaier, and Lee. Some drivers stayed out. Let's hear from Ryan Preece, winner stage 2.
Let's see if we can dial it up. Ryan Preece, Joey Logano up here in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Joey.
Hey man, you're doing a great job out there. Looks like Henrik's got some really good restarts, but then afterwards it seems like you start to get that momentum and be able to take that lead right back. What do you got to do to try to keep up on those restarts a little bit better for maybe a late race caution for the win?
Well, I think tires kind of helped him there a little bit for a while, but you know, I think I'm just going to work on that little bit of egg under the throttle pedal, but we'll be all right. Little by little, we'll get it, and when it's all the money, when the money is on the line, that's when it's going to matter, and that's when we'll come through.
I love the fight in you, buddy. This is Michael. How's this car differ from racing that big modified around here? You look to be equally as good in either.
Yeah, you want to know what? That's that guy sitting on the pit box right there, Eric Phillips. He's doing a great job. You know, my guy who always looks for speed, but he knows what it takes to have a good balance for the entire run, so that's that guy right there.
Well, you've been a thrill to watch. Keep it up, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Kyle Busch, Kyle Benjamin, Daniel Suarez, Ryan Preece. It doesn't really matter who Eric Phillips works with. His cars are going to be fast.
And here's the cool thing about Ryan Preece. We started at the same exact racetrack, Silver City in Meriden, Connecticut, racing quarter midgets against each other back in 96, 97. And how cool is it from racing little cars like that to being, up here at Bristol, watching him lead some laps and already win an Xfinity race and looking pretty good to bring home the money today.
A modified champion that made the move to the Carolinas to go NASCAR racing with JD Motorsports. Didn't get much traction. Went back home, saved up his money, came back down, got an opportunity with Joe Gibbs Racing, and he has delivered big time.
Adam, you know who's leading this race?
I do know. It's Chase Briscoe, and I don't know how.
Watch this. Watch this wreck he's in, Joey Logano. He hit he hit the wall. He hit another car. He bounced through all that. Somehow that team has effected repairs to that 98 car, and he finds himself the leader of this race.
In the lead. And I'm not sure it's quite as fast as it was before that crash, but hey, he's making the most out of a bad situation right now. You see the repairs they made to it. It's really good. You also see Brendan Jones with that strategy is going to put him up there. Austin Cindric with a great pit stop, great pit stalls, putting him up in fourth. Look for him to have a good restart here as well.
All about strategy, creating track position, Larry.
Yeah, those top three, Chase Briscoe, Brandon Jones, Tyler Reddick, they've been pitting under these last couple of cautions. They only have about 9 to 10 laps on their tires. I think it's a great call again, just like Eric Phillips earlier with Ryan Preece.
Every time I've seen Tyler Reddick on camera, he's been sideways. Let's see if that continues.
They have found their way, though. Great job for Dave Ellens today atop the pit box for that 9 car. Cindric on the freshest tires. Outside row 2, Briscoe jumping to the lead in front of Brandon Jones.
Wow.
Final stage underway. $100,000 on the line for 3 drivers, and anybody's guess how this thing is going to end. 3 wide, that usually doesn't work out at Bristol.
Got my attention, I'll tell you that. Shane Lee decided he's going to go way up top. Falls in behind Cindric there in the 22.
How much is his confidence building right now, Shane Lee?
He's feeling pretty good about himself. He's doing an amazing job for his first race. You see him under there racing Austin Cindric. But, man, he's done a great job so far, keeping his car clean, been in some tight situations, but been smart with his race car.
And that just has to be a great handling race car as well. The team has done a great job. We've talked about the progression of Richard Childress Racing. He's sideways, and how much faster those cars are. Lee's taking advantage of that.
And this is a tough spot to be in. This car is right on your door like that. You're going to get loose. Here comes a lap car of Justin Allgaier up there.
It did look like Allgaier that had smoke. We'll double check that. It is the 7 in that high lane.
Wow, he almost crashed, Adam. That car was out of the groove. Must have just got up the hill a bit because he's still got a lot of speed, as you can see.
Cole Custer finally got in that bottom lane. He's got to be frustrated. Been battling back all day long.
You just jumps over the grip line there.
Just dirty up there. You can see the dirt coming off the right side of the car, and behind the car it's just there's no grip where it's just dusty, and it's got to be cleaned up. And it hasn't been enough green flag runs and cars moving up there to clean it up like it needs to be.
He was 6th when he got shoved out of line. Now 10th as we have a battle for the lead, Michael.
Crawling's behind him. Nice and smooth now inside.
Brandon Jones in the 19 going for it.
That's that car that wrecked he's racing with.
And he led a lot of laps. He doesn't have a left front fender on that car.
Well, at least
that's amazing.
That is amazing.
Look who's behind him. Ryan Preece stalking.
Makes you wonder what that car would be like if it had a fender on it.
Brandon Jones gets the lead. but he might not keep it for long. Priest is through to second, and we know how fast the 18 has been today.
And he's like a bulldog behind the wheel too. When he gets there, he's going.
That's that modified in him. They're not scared to lay the bumper to somebody.
And when you talk to him, he's the sweetest, nicest kid you ever met. And today, he's ready to go. He knows there's a big carrot out there for him, and he's looking for it.
There's something about putting a helmet on. You put that chin strap on. Oh, no.
All right,
and you see.
coming at you, get it rolling when you can.
Briscoe
Ran right,
here.
you left rear. Nothing you can do there. Kept them spinning the whole time, did not lock them up.
That's spotter Joel Edmonds. Joel giving him the report. There was nothing that Chase could do. He got hit.
He was with us on NASCAR Race Hub this week, and I teased him. I said, is there pressure driving the 98 for the first time because Kevin Harvick won in that car? He said, there's pressure because I'm an Indiana kid driving Tony Stewart's car, and here's the reason for caution number 10.
Well, I mean, he didn't damage it any more than what it was.
I don't know if he can, Joey. Oh, loose off.
Yeah, loose there.
1 to the 21 now. Right at your bumper on you.
I think he was in there.
Keep spinning. All right, nothing coming at you. Get it rolling when you can. Ran right, you left rear. Side. Caution. Bottom.
We're lucky more cars weren't collected there. A lot of smoke, hard to see. Brandon Jones leading. 112 to go at Bristol. Priest, Henrik, Nemechek, Reddick, your top 5. It has been one entertaining afternoon. Just over 100 laps to go at Bristol, 10th caution of the afternoon. And while things are slow on track, Joey, let's talk about your foundation. What's going on there?
Oh, we got a lot of great things going on. We got a, our go-kart event coming up soon up in Connecticut, and, it's helped raise some money. We give second chances to kids in crisis is what we do. And there's a lot of kids that just are born into a bad situation, maybe a broken family, and they need some good role models in their life. And we're able to work with some great organizations that you are able to kind of steer them down the right road and make sure that, they're not the same as, you don't put their kids in the same position they're in right now. And it's definitely the most rewarding part of my job to be part of that and to try to encourage others to live a life of generosity. It's a big deal to me. It's a big deal to my wife, Brittany, as well. And, it's definitely a lot of fun. And, we look forward to, doing a lot of things that, last a lot longer than just trophies, right? If you can change somebody's life, there's no bigger deal than that.
I just love NASCAR racing. That's what it's all about. Everybody's wanting to give back. And Joey, you're a great example of just that.
Jones Priest, teammates on the front row. Priest won last year at Iowa. Jones looking for his first career victory. Behind him, Henrik, Nemechek, Reddick, Shane Lee in his debut race today. Green with 1:07 remaining.
Now, one thing we haven't seen yet today, Adam, right, is teammates wreck each other.
Well, hang on a second.
Hey, Nemechek. A lot of tape on that race car, but he has found his way to the front in a 42.
And look at Nemechek put it right on the door of Ryan Priest like that. He is a very aggressive race car driver. It gets him a lot of spots on restarts like this. Sometimes gets him in a lot of crashes, but he's putting himself in position right now.
And Priest isn't giving up, though. He's down on the inside, and like the bulldog I talked about, he's just going to chew that position back.
There's a couple bulldogs right there, and it usually doesn't end too well.
Henrik right behind him, going to take advantage of Nemechek jump to the inside as Priest gets the second spot. And back behind them, 22 of Austin Cindric is 8th, Allgaier and Gallagher there as well.
Henrik is a mild-mannered guy. When you talk to him down in the garage area, you wouldn't think that he could get up there and go like he does, but he grew up on the short tracks. He knows what this is all about. He likes battling on these racetracks, and he knows what's ahead. A $100,000 reward if he can just get ahead of the other guys racing for that cash.
See a little contact to the left rear of the 22 car with Spencer Gallagher and Austin Cindric. Yeah, this is makes me scared of that left rear tire after we've seen so many of them blown out.
Gallagher gets by. Here comes points leader Elliott Sadler looking to get inside the top 10 one more time. He's been outside the top 30 at portions of this race. Talking about Elliott Sadler.
Joey, you run these races every now and then. Did you know it was this crazy? I don't know if you would have put your nose out in some of those places you did if you had seen it from this angle, right?
That's you definitely want to be up front, but we've seen crashes happen up front today even.
Teammates here. Reddick, who won at Daytona, only driver entered today that has a win this season, and Justin Allgaier, who continues to work his way back toward the front. Not been easy for either one of them this weekend.
No, it's definitely going to be a blue-collar day for both these teams. If they're able to scrape a top 5 or so out of this thing, that would be very impressive. You see the front splitter of the 7 car is already worn down quite a bit. They jacked it up some, but it seems like they got that fixed where he's actually going pretty good on these restarts.
What do you have for us, Jamie?
Well, Adam, we always talk about the guys on pit road. Well, in the Xfinity Series, we have a woman making history, Brianna Daniels. She's been doing this for Stephen Light, the 55. She's a tire changer. Brianna, it's great to see you. I see you get a lot of attention. How did you get to this point?
I've had my fair share of, working with different teams. And of course, it started in practice. Every practice is a trial for me. And me not being signed to a team, I'm with different teams, working in the Xfinity Series, the Truck Series, ARCA Series. And then finally this year, I was able to, land a deal of being on the 55 crew with JP Motorsports, just by working hard and just working on my craft. And I guess they like what they saw.
A student athlete, she learned about NASCAR and said, I want to do that. And Adam, we encourage women, if you want to be part of NASCAR, come on out. There are places for you.
Played college basketball. Am I right in saying that, Jamie?
Yes, sir. She played college basketball in Norfolk, Virginia. So she's been part of NASCAR now, but she is a permanent member of this 55 team and doing a great job. She wants to make it to Cup. That's her long-term goal.
They were looking for college athletes to come be a part of NASCAR. Brianna said, that's not just for the guys. I want to show you what I can do. And here she is pitting an Xfinity car. Outstanding job by her.
That is really, really cool to see. And you imagine the hurdle she had to jump to get to this point already in her career. It'd be really neat to see where she makes it.
Austin Cindric has fallen to 11th, and just behind him, Ross Chastain, Alex LeBay, Garrett Smithley. Some really good stories inside the top 15, and Chastain is one of them. He's really been good in the 4 car.
Yeah, he just came off pit road on that last caution, so he's got some fresher tires, and he's charging with them.
How good's Brandon Jones been? I thought Priest would really take care of things here on this restart. Not the case. Priest second, Henrik, Nemechek, Custer, the top 5 here.
The key to not getting lost here or getting dizzy is having a good spotter to keep reminding you.
There's times really late in the race where you kind of get in a rhythm and you can't really tell which end's which.
You know, turn 1 and 2 has a little bit different shape than turn 3 and 4, and you're able to not get lost.
The best way to keep track of where you are is the big little start-finish line and the flagger on the front stretch. That's how I would do it.
You guys ever get lost here, huh?
No, I really don't. The only time it really gets really challenging is if you have to make a green flag pit stop. You got to remember what pit road you're on, because there's 2 pit roads here when the green flag's out. So that part's a little challenging, but really I kind of remember where I'm at.
Well, you know, back in the day, we didn't have the spotters doing as much as they do today. I think they're constantly reminding you of what's going on around you. It seems to keep the driver more focused on his task. I like all the talk y'all get from your spotters.
Me too. I like hearing a lot of information. They feed so much information about the cars around you, behind you, in front of you, and oh, here you see a shot to the 22 by the 4 of Ross Chastain. You know, that bottom's still hanging in there strong, guys. It's been pretty impressive for me.
I look at these drivers inside the top 10, various strategies there. Where do we stand on a game plan the rest of the way, Larry?
Well, it's really interesting, Adam, because with roughly 75 laps to go, everybody can make it on fuel, so lay that aside. But when I look at our top 3 drivers, Brandon Jones, Ryan Priest, John Hunter Nemechek, they actually have 1 to 2 sets of tires. You've got Cole Custer that he only has a set of rights. Tyler Reddick only has a set of rights. Justin Allgaier only has a set of left. Elliott Sadler, by my calculations, has no tires laying in his pits that he's not used. So I think we've got drivers that would be fine if we get a caution. We've got some drivers that would hate to see a caution.
Maybe it's good if you don't have tires, because if the caution comes out, everyone else pits, and you just gain track position, right? I mean, is that a little bit of the name of the game? It's worked out for Brandon Jones here.
It's worked out for a few. Now, he doesn't have that many laps on his tires. I think he's got 10 laps or so more than Ryan Preece. But we thought Ryan Preece was the fastest car out there by a long shot. And here you see, as he is catching him, but it's taken him a long time to catch him and working through lap traffic and all. Brandon Jones is doing a very good job leading a lot of laps today.
Career high, 44 laps out front. That's great for him.
Yeah, and he was so strong in Texas, winning a stage down there. We've seen a lot of progression for this young man this year, but I'm telling you, over the last 10 laps, number 18, he's a coming.
And this is where Brandon, maybe doesn't have as much experience as when you're running for the lead. You're trying to work through lap traffic, and you got pressure behind you. When you're going for your first win like that, it definitely has a different level of pressure that's added to you.
What's Team 19 saying, Regan?
Well, just to clear up the 19 car, they actually have 2 sets of tires still sitting in the pits, so their strategy has left them in a pretty good position tire-wise, as well as Justin Allgaier, who has 1 full set of stickers left. They did not use those rights that we thought maybe they used earlier in the race. Jamie?
And Regan, I just want to update the one of Elliott Sadler. It was interesting. He's been involved in a couple issues today, and about lap 100, right after he had pitted, he avoided contact with another car, and he flat spotted those tires. So his crew chief went to NASCAR and asked if they could replace that set of tires since it only had 1 lap on them. NASCAR looked at it, they deemed it okay, they gave him an extra set of sticker tires, and that's what's laying in the pit box.
That's big for them. You look at Sadler, 7th right now, top 10 every race so far in 2018. That's why he came in leading the championship. And you know who's got speed? Number 7, Justin Allgaier, up to 4th right now.
This has been a fun charge watching Allgaier, Adam, because what he does when he catches another car, he's comfortable with running up the track. He goes high, but his fastest laps are turned right around the bottom. This guy's going to be interesting to watch. That time by, he ran a 16.22. That's 0.3 faster than our leader. That 7 car, banged up as it is the fastest guy in town right now.
Well, he's not worried about scratching it, that's for sure. And you know what? I mean, he's probably one of the best drivers out here on this racetrack as far as Bristol. He understands what he has to do to make his car go fast, especially on the long run. And he's being patient. And he's reeling these guys in. He just passed Daniel Henrik a few laps ago, who led a bunch of laps today.
Joe Gibbs Racing, 11 wins at Bristol, most all time. They're running 1-2 today, but yet to get to victory lane in 2018. We'll see if they can close the deal. front, but his lead under a quarter of a second. Ryan Preece, his teammate, is second. Nemechek only a second behind, and Justin Allgaier has speed as we get close to 50 laps remaining. This is going to be some fun.
Oh, it's just tightening up, Adam. The second pack here, Nemechek and Allgaier, they're coming. Look, they can see the leaders now. And when you can see a guy at Bristol, Joey, it just seems to motivate you a little bit more.
And they got clean racetrack right now. So now's a good time for Preece to try to make this move and try to clear before he gets back to traffic and might have to follow him through it again. And right now you see, you know, Justin Allgaier may be the fastest car on the racetrack. And they're all catching up to each other. And I think it's going to be right at the right time when all this turns into a really good race. So it'd be interesting to see how much longer Preece is patient here. I know it's his teammate there, so he has to be somewhat patient, but they're catching him from behind.
The other part of that is, though, he's leading in the dash for cash, so you don't want to rough things up too much and lose the 100 grand and a race and throw it all out the window.
And how does Preece balance all that? And how hard do I race my teammate? I wonder if he's been taught any of those lessons while over there at JGR, because there's company coming.
I was going to say, he might not have to worry about managing the lead. It may be concern from the 42 of Nemechek and the 7 of Allgaier.
What a great match this has been today. So much good racing all the way around this track. We've seen it all today. Bumping and banging, too wide, running high, running low. This is great.
And look, here goes Justin Allgaier moving up the racetrack. You see him there in 3 and 4 behind John Hunter Nemechek, trying to find somewhere to build a run to make this pass. And as it starts to clean up, that'll work more and more. It just depends on how much time he's got left. You see he lost some in that corner in turn 2.
And Joey, as a driver, would you, if you were Allgaier, or say you were Preece running in second position, would you start moving around with your lane just to see if there's anything there?
Well, he's got nothing to lose, right? You look at it, he's 1.4 seconds behind the leader. The next car back is almost 6 seconds behind the leader. Why not? What do you have to lose? It's harder to do that when there's someone pressuring you and you don't want to lose another spot. But Justin's a smart driver. He's going to start trying to find some things and trying to get away to pass the 42 and make a really good race out of this thing.
Nemechek and Jones up there looking for their first career victory. How about the list of drivers that picked up win number 1 here at Bristol? Allgaier is there, did it in 2010. Martin Truex Jr., Jeff Fuller, Bobby Labonte, Rick Wilson, and Fox's own Phil Parsons won the first ever Xfinity race here in 1982.
How about that stat?
That's pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah. Took him a while to figure this out, but he's got it now.
And this has got to be just breathing all kinds of confidence into Brandon Jones.
And he's just got to, not make a mistake right now. Ryan Preece is doing a good job just keeping enough pressure on him, probably getting him to look up in the mirror every now and again and seeing that, red and white car behind you, knowing that if I make one mistake trying to pass a lap car, he's going to be there and he's going to pounce.
And these lap cars could get more and more difficult to pass. That was Ryan Truex they drove around. Truex is running in the 13th position, so as they ease up toward guys running in the top 10, there might be more of a fight put up by the guys they're trying to lap, and that could have an effect on who wins this race.
And reminding everyone of the dash for cash. Christopher Bell eligible, wrecked out, he is done. Preece leads in that category right now is second. Henrik next in line in 6th, and Cole Custer back there in the 8th position. 40 laps to go.
You think we can run this thing all the way down to the checker without another crash, as many as we've had early? Look at this run
watch
here.
This move here. He's going to try to cross under him, go 3 wide.
Allgaier for 3rd inside of Nemechek.
Wow. Nemechek closed the door.
That's a great move by Justin Allgaier right there. Got the run, saw the lap car, got the run by moving up the corner and then coming back down, going 3 wide and forcing the 42 off of the Bristol bite and being able to round that corner and get ahead of him.
And that's what I've seen out of that 7 car of Allgaier. He's been more versatile. He can move around, it seems like, a little bit more than the rest of the competition. If he gets to the back bumper of Preece, it'll be interesting to see if he can work that magic again.
I said Allgaier got his first career win here in 2010. You know who he was driving for?
Roger Penske.
He was.
Yes, he was. I had to think about that for a second.
One of those 480 victories. Who knew you and he had something in common?
There we go. Who'd have known?
Jones has stretched it out a little bit here.
Well, last time by Adam, by about a 1/10 of a second, he was faster than Preece, but again, Justin Allgaier was the fastest car on the track, and you can see that deficit is down to just car lengths for him.
And all it's going to take is one car to check him up a little bit. And there's a lot of them in front of him. He's going to have to pass between now and the end of the race.
How much is this racetrack for you, Joey, a rhythm racetrack? Whereas if you do get held up by a lap car, does it take you a couple laps to get it going again?
I think you almost got to look at it as not a rhythm type of racetrack, because you got to be able to be versatile, like you talked about Justin Allgaier. You got to be able to move up the racetrack, pass cars. You got to be able to find something different to be able to pass cars. And if you get too much into your rhythm and you do the same thing over and over again, you're never going to be able to get by anyone.
And Chastain going to race him hard here because the last car on the lead lap. So this could open the door for Priest to get back up there. Jones underneath and going to drive by. Right now, he looks like a veteran out front, Regan.
Well, part of him looking like that veteran is his spotter on the roof. Chris Osborne has been coaching him up this entire run at him and telling him exactly what he needed to do, whether it was saving his tires, passing guys at the right times. Let's not forget, Chris Osborne spots for Daniel Suarez, but also helped lead Daniel Suarez to an Xfinity championship. He has experience leading young drivers that need to learn as they go.
I thought Suarez was going to get his first career win here in 2015. Didn't work out. He finished second to Joey, who led all 300 laps. You weren't playing nice on that Saturday.
I was there for one reason.
Just got a report issue for John Hunter Nemechek. Tire down for the 42. He will make a pit stop. 30 laps to go.
They all look up.
He was running inside the top 5, Jamie, and now he's on pit road.
What a battle back for the 42 to be in the top 5 after the issues he's had today. Damage on the front end, got into a couple different cars throughout the race. Now he just said that he had a tire going down, wasn't sure what side, so you see him putting 4 fresh ones on the 42.
That will take him out of contention with 28 laps to go, and the advantage now for Brandon Jones over a second.
Well, how much you think, and Joey, I'll ask you, this is Ryan Preece just pacing himself. He wants to win the race, obviously, but he also knows there's a big reward if he can just finish in the second position with winning the Dash for Cash. And he also knows there could be a late restart. Could he be saving something?
I don't think you're saving anything with 27 laps to go. I think you're going as hard as you can. I think he has been for a while and might be paying the penalty for it. You know, that $100,000 is really nice. Don't get me wrong, but you want that trophy. If you're a race car driver, you want to win the race. Second stings. Second just always hurts the most. $100,000 makes it a little better, but winning
this is
the race
Bristol.
is what it's all about.
I mean, not just winning a race, but doing it here. This is one box every driver wants to check, and now down to 25 laps remaining, and Brandon Jones does not want to see this.
This is a scrum, Adam. These guys are running 2 and 3 different grooves, sliding up the hill, getting really, really close to running into one another. And you're right. Look how loose Gallagher is down on the bottom.
And they realize the leader is about a half a straightaway behind them right now. So they're trying to push as hard as they can.
Custer.
You see Custer into the wall.
He jumps the cushion, gets up too high into the tire marbles, and there's our leader.
He goes a lap down. Jones drives by him. Custer was 10th. So now only 9 cars remain on the lead lap. No caution here. Custer has gathered it in. 23, going to be 22 laps remaining for Brandon Jones this time. We've got like 5.5, 6 minutes remaining in this race if we stay green. If you look at it that way, you feel like it's about over, but it's going to be the longest 5-6 minutes of Brandon Jones's life.
Yes, and they are, you know, he's turned up the wick here lately. He's laying down some lap times.
He can't hold his breath that long, can he? Because that's what he wants to try to do. This is very tense for that young man, knowing how many cautions we've had, all the cars that are still running on the racetrack.
Tyler Reddick doing some positive things late, working to the outside of Daniel Henrik.
Got to give it up for Reddick. He spun out twice yesterday and didn't wreck his car. The team went to work. Dave Ellens did a nice job on adjusting it, getting it better throughout the day, and now he finds himself racing up inside the top 5.
And Tyler Reddick always does a good job of figuring out how to finish the race, and that's something that great drivers they know how to do. They can go through so much stuff, but they know how to finish the race. And now you see the leader catching a big wad of cars that are all on the tail end of the lead lap. How hard are they going to race him to stay on that lead lap? That's
got by Cindric easily.
And what about these tires? We've talked about how much they're wearing on the left side. I see a lot of guys slipping and sliding like their tires are going low.
Just like that one.
Shane Lee into the wall. Will it bring out the caution? Yes, it will. 11th one of the day.
Keep going. They'll fix it. Try to
Man, I just saw guys really starting to
keep running here.
Really starting to slip and slide, and And that indicated maybe a lot of tire wear. Let's see if that was the case here for Lee.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, it may have been a left front tire. I think it looks a little low there. You know, there's been a lot of left side wear, you know, and they're still running the bottom. They're still running on that Bristol bite. And, man, that was the longest green flag run. That was 90 laps of green flag. You know, that's what just eventually blew out.
Now what do you do?
That's what I was going to say. Larry, I mean, we're going to pit here or stay out? Only 7 cars on the lead lap.
Well, I think that's part of the key, Adam. Only 7 drivers on the lead lap, and we have over 100 laps to go. And I've been watching the lap times. They actually have really started to fall off. I mean, we may see some roll the dice, but I don't see how you do anything. But you have to come to pit road and get 4 tires.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right, but there's only 15 laps to go. There's going to be, you know, 10 laps, you know, a little bit more than 10 laps to go by the time we go back green.
They were slipping and sliding, Joey. I think you have to come get 4 tires.
I think you got to come and do 4 tires, but what if you're one of the last cars on the lead lap? Maybe and you got nothing to lose, and maybe you're not someone racing for points. Maybe you know, you never know. That I've seen a lot of crashes today, and you never know. You might have something that comes down to just survival, and if you put yourself in that track position, you might luck out.
We got to pit. I got to have tires. I'm nervous. I saw one blow out. I see guys slipping and sliding. I want 4.
Free pass goes to Austin Cindric. So when we return to the green flag, that would put 8 cars on the lead lap, and that's if no one takes the wave around, which is certainly a possibility here if all these leaders come down pit road. And Brandon Jones makes the left-hand turn, and it looks like he's bringing everybody with him, Regan.
Yeah, I believe the whole field's going to come here, Adam. Brandon Jones leading this race, doing a very nice job up front. He's got very good drive up off with his race car right now. A little bit too loose in. The 7 car of Justin Allgaier, as he hits his pit stall, they're going to give him 4 tires. He wore out the right front because he was a little bit too tight, but he does not want them to free up that car any more than what they have already. Jamie Little.
And Elliott Sadler makes his way around in the 1 car. He has that extra set of sticker tires, the fresh ones that they turned in. He'll pull it in. The car has been decent. Some of the drivers, though, saying the car's gotten loose. Some saying it hasn't done anything for them. The 9 of Tyler Reddick, he has fought his way back, done a great job. They had a jack brake earlier, just in the middle of the pit stop. They overcame that, found himself now in the top 5. The 18 of Ryan Preece saying the car is just pushing the nose. That's been his biggest issue, getting a little too loose as well, going for his 2nd career victory today.
One thought I had here, Jamie, make sure you don't speed on pit road. They come off. Brandon Jones wins the battle, took 2 tires. Preece and Allgaier get 4, the same for Sadler and Reddick. A big restart when we return to Bristol, Tennessee. 11 cautions today for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Bristol. They happen early and often. Some scary moments, some drivers getting hurt feelings, and many able to rally back from adverse times. And if you win today, you take that checkered flag home from this race, you will have flat out earned your money.
This place is tough.
Well, this is going to get pretty exciting. You're going to have, what, 10 to go or so, 9 to go, something like that. And
I'll just tell you, Brandon Jones is in trouble.
They put 2 tires on, man. I don't know about that move. If you're, he had a good size lead, and he, I don't know.
He's starting on the outside lane. Priest will let him in here, right?
Well, I don't see that happening. But
I don't
in
either.
all honesty, Priest has been struggling on these restarts on the bottom. So if he can get a good launch, at least set him up to maybe not lose as many spots. Maybe he's able to hold them off, but I just don't see it happening.
Priest is going to drive around the bottom and be gone, I'm afraid. But remember, right behind.
Here we go.
10 to go. Time for a shootout at Bristol. It doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah, he's going to get him here, I think.
Priest to the lead on those 4 tires. Allgaier coming with him.
What a run off turn 2 by Brandon Jones.
Brandon Jones hanging tough. The kid out of Atlanta, Georgia, not giving up on those 2 tires, but Priest able to get by. There'll be 8 laps to go when they make it around here. Jones goes wide. Here comes Allgaier. Can the 7 get there?
And now it's all about those adjustments they just made on that pit stop. What are they able to do to make their cars launch for 10 laps as fast as they possibly can? They don't have to go very long.
This is breathtaking for me. I know how bad Justin Allgaier wants to go up there and take this victory away from Ryan Priest. Priest has to drive the perfect 7 laps of his life.
And he's not driving away from him right now, I tell you that much. Justin's doing a good job keeping very close, keeping those left sides on the bottom, staying disciplined to that bite on the bottom there. So we'll see what happens.
And right behind him, there's Daniel Henrik. He's into 3rd, Adam. Any contact, any slight shove from Allgaier to our leader, Priest? Guess who's going to benefit from that?
Henrik wants that $100,000, and keep in mind the top 4 will advance and be eligible next weekend at Richmond, minus Priest, who is not entered for the event Friday night up in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Ryan Reed off the pace. We're going to have 4 laps to go, and Priest is hanging tough.
4 to go. 5 back. Got the 10 behind him.
This Priest kid's a superstar if he can pull this off. I mean, he has answered every call. Every time they put him in that car, he's been right there.
Something about maybe the state of Connecticut.
No, you Connecticut racers, hard-nosed, modified driver.
That's it.
What's in the water up there? I used to think Kentucky was special.
Saw Tyler Reddick go wide. What's Allgaier saying?
Way too tight, man. I'm sorry. Stay with it. 1 slip up, we're right there.
Got to coach him up.
Yeah, so frustrating when you could just taste that victory.
You can see it.
Priest starting to pull away. He's going to come around and see the white flag. 1 lap to go, sponsored by
8 back.
Priest may be looking to make a deposit, huh?
A big one right now. Trophies in, money.
Still 10 back, 7.
How about a win and $100,000? Ryan Priest delivers at Bristol.
When you see the 22 car of Austin Cindric, looks like he's got a lot of damage. He's trying to limp it across the line here. I think he's going to make it.
Back home for 8th. Look at that.
Having the patience
and he made
all weekend to have what you got. So, nice job. Just take care of that motor there.
He said, I'm burning it down. Screw the motor.
Gotta love the emotion from Eric Phillips.
I love everything I saw about this day, Adam.
All the different drivers. Joe Gibbs Racing, 12th win at Bristol Motor Speedway. 4th different driver to deliver for the coach, and their first victory of 2018.
You know, there's such a special moment, you know, to anytime you win an Xfinity Series, but Bristol, man, we talked about that a minute ago. What it's like to win here and celebrate, you know, on the front stretch and be able to pull it into victory lane on top of the building up there. It's just such a cool feeling that not many people are able to know what it feels like.
Preece wins, which would mean he's automatically eligible for the Dash for Cash next weekend because he won the $100,000 today, but he's not entered at Richmond. You take him out of the equation, Justin Allgaier, Daniel Henrik, Elliott Sadler, Spencer Gallagher.
Up right there. Just watch that wrecker right behind you there.
Racing for the 100 grand on Friday Night Live on FS1.
Can you do like a 7,000 or 8,000 RPM burnout, Joey, without hurting anything?
I don't know. Ask Doug Yates. That's probably not, but it looks cool.
Oh man, it sounds cool too.
I'm all about a burnout.
Let's see what happened to Austin Cindric. Torn up race car, but he did manage to finish in the top 12. He was 12th officially at the checkered flag.
Oh wow.
That'll do it.
See, Reddick get loose and come down the racetrack and get him right in the right rear. And Austin did a good job right after that, keeping it up against the wall and keeping his foot in it to get across to the start-finish line and get that thing home.
How excited is Noah Gragson? He's going to make his Xfinity debut next Friday.
That's right.
Driving the 18, and he knows it has speed on a short track. Ryan Preece, a winner today.
With the win, Justin Allgaier comes home second. Daniel Henrik is third this afternoon. Elliott Sadler runs fourth. Spencer Gallagher comes home in the fifth position. Brandon Jones winds up sixth. Seventh is Tyler Reddick. Eighth is Cole Custer. Finishing ninth this afternoon is Ross Chastain. And your 10th place finisher is Ryan Truex. Alex LeVay finishes 11th today. Austin Cindric winds up 12th. John Hunter Nemechek 13th. Shane Lee 14th. And 15th is Ryan Seed. Finishing 16th is Joey Gase. Garrett Smithly with a 17th place finish today. Ryan Reed 18th. Joe Nemechek winds up 19th, and BJ McLeod finishes 20th. Michael Annett runs 21st this afternoon. Josh Williams 22nd. Chase Briscoe 23rd. David Starr 24th. And Spencer Boyd finishes 25th. Finishing 26th today is Tommy Joe Martins. Timmy Hill in 27th. Stephen Light in 28th. Christopher Bell, after that hard crash up in turn 3 and 4, finishes 29th. And Cody Ward comes home 30th. Dylan Lupton finishes 31st. Josh Balicki 32nd. Billy Miller 33rd. Ty Majeski 34th. Matt Tiff comes home 35th. Chad Fincham with a 36th place run today. J.J. Yaley 37th. Kaz Grall 38th. Jeff Green 39th. And Jeremy Clements finishes 40th this afternoon in the Fitzgerald Glider Kids 300.
It is official here in Bristol in the Xfinity Series, and it is official. Gibbs' winless streak is over. 27-year-old Ryan Preece made it happen and earned the $100,000 in the Dash for Cash. Jamie Little down in Victory Lane.
The Dash for Cash dollars are flying, the fireworks, the water. In 7 races for Joe Gibbs Racing, Ryan Preece has finished in the top 10 at each one, and now your second win. Eric Phillips, your crew chief, talked about patience all weekend long. How difficult was it for you to maintain patience despite everything today?
Well, first off, this Ream Road Toyota TRD Camry JGR car was awesome. And these guys right here, they all work hard, and they don't get any credit on TV. And now I want you guys to focus in on them and this guy right here. I got to thank everybody last year for helping me make this all possible, because without last year, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I wouldn't be sitting in Bristol Victory Lane in an Xfinity Series car with Joe Gibbs Racing. Albert and Kathy Moniz, Al Hankey, Betsy. Man, I'm just at a loss for Mizzy Construction, Stanley, just a whole bunch of people. And I know they aren't on the car right now, but they were a huge part of this. And to win here, man, it's unreal. I guess I didn't make Joey Logano look like a fool there.
It was a good pick. I know they're making their way around. You get to take home the $100,000 check. What are you going to do with it?
You know what?
probably do something for my parents, do something for my brothers, my wife, and my team. We're gonna go get something to drink later, and man, I can't thank Eric Phillips enough, man. That guy works his butt off. He's not only sitting behind a desk, but he's out there in the shop working hard, and I have a lot of respect for him. So it was a good run for us, good run for my teammate Brandon. If that caution didn't come out, he had it in the bag, but you know, he's gonna get there soon enough.
Ryan Preece is victorious in Bristol. There's going to be a party tonight, Regan.
Well, there will be a party tonight there, Jamie, as they present the check to Ryan Preece. Down here, we've got Brandon Jones, who had an amazing run today. So close. You led the majority of the end of this race. You opted for 2 tires on that last pit stop. Was that the difference?
Man, that caution right there on that long run just killed me. I just put my head down when I saw it because I knew we were so much better than the 18 up off the corner. But all in all, it's such a phenomenal day for the Toyota, for Menards, and for everybody at JGR right now. Also, Turtle Wax is on board this weekend as well. So I can't say enough about the guys that support us the most. And we are just so close right now. It breaks my heart to see that. But we had a gamble right there at the end. You know, we had to take the 2 tires to try to see what we could do. Just too much wheel spin on the restart to make anything of it.
This race team keeps improving every week. A good run last week that got ended early. This week they finished 3rd. Shannon?
What a day it was for some younger drivers looking to make a name in this series. No Cup drivers because it was a dash for cash. And here's where those guys finished. You see Ryan Preece not only winning the race, but winning the $100,000. You got Daniel Henrik in 3rd, Cole Custer in 8th, and Christopher Bell unfortunately had a strong car, but did get in that wreck and finished 30th in this race. Let's check in with Regan Smith, who's with Daniel Henrik.
Well, Daniel Henrik comes home in 3rd place today. Daniel, so close to that $100,000 bonus. You led laps, you were up front. What are you thinking right now?
I think Preece got $100,000 and we don't. No, but congratulations to him, man. Those guys were really, really good all day. I thought early in the race we were better on the short run, and those guys had really good long run speed. And I started getting a little bit of brake fade there the last half of the race. I struggled to really put the corners together, and luckily a caution came back out and allowed us to regroup on our 21 Hotel Casino Chevrolet. And man, dang it, I don't know. I thought it was going to be okay, and I got behind on the racetrack and asked them for adjustments. But proud of all the guys at RCR. Keep chipping away at it. You know, we didn't get the $100,000 here, but I think running 3rd there locks us in to have a shot at it next week at Richmond. And that's one of my favorite racetracks. But thanks to Xfinity, thanks to Comcast for the opportunity to at least run for $100,000. And congratulations to Ryan Preece. He's a hell of a driver.
You'll have to wait till next week to get that $100,000.
A lot of class being shown by a number of drivers down there in different circumstances, but how can you not celebrate this win for Ryan Preece? What a wonderful story.
Yeah, and it's great, you know, listening to him in his interview, and he starts thanking not just the sponsors that it's on his car today, but everyone that's helped him get to this point. That's how big of a deal it is for him. You know, he's still very, fresh in his career, and it's so cool to be able to see him to get the win. He's not really, can't put a sticker on very good yet. I can see it's all wrinkled up. But outside of that, what an amazing drive he did today, and shows so much respect to his race team. That shows a lot of class out of him.
Maybe you can help him with the stickers, because I think he's got everything else down pat. But Brandon Jones, I wanted to hug him. I mean, he was in position to win at Bristol. They made a call on pit road that cost him the race, but he was so positive about what that team accomplished, and I was the same way. That team has been behind him when he slipped a time or two. That's how you become a champion. You rally together, and you go off to Richmond next week and say, they got away from us last week, but we got them now.
Hey, congratulations on a great day up here. Best of luck tomorrow as you try to get the big win. Start.
Thank you very much. Yes, we can. Nothing like going like Bristol, and doing it in the Cup race means even more. So it'd be nice to break through and get another trophy.
Always fun to have Joey in the booth. As we said, starting 10th tomorrow, 500 laps at Bristol. Let's hear from Justin Allgaier. He nearly got up there and won this race. Regan.
He nearly got up there, and Justin shook his head when he got out of the car and said, wow, what a day. You went from the back to the front, you spun, you had a little bit of everything happen in your race today. You still come home in 2nd place.
Yeah, long day for sure. Obviously super proud to be part of the Xfinity Series Dash for Cash next week, so hats off to Xfinity Comcast for all they do for this sport in this series. Our Suave Men guys did a great job today. I owe Matt Tift an apology. We were racing there on one of those restarts, and he kind of come down off of 2, and I clipped the apron, and at that point, there was nowhere for me to do. I just kind of slid up into his left rear, and that started the mess for the day. And these guys rallied behind us, and just a long day, but really proud of a top 2. Hats off to Ryan Preece. They did a great job today. Hopefully we can go get that $100,000 next week.
Shannon, this is his 3rd 2nd place of this season. He's slowly becoming the Kyle Busch of the Xfinity Series in terms of 2nd place finishes.
Yes, certainly. He wants to break through and get that victory. Ryan Preece said he'd use the $100,000 $100,000 to build some more race cars? Well, there's more cars coming your way, Ryan. We'll be right back at Bristol.
$100,000 richer, a victory at Bristol. Ryan Priest.
Is down, and then you see we've got 33 on the entire season. So you take a look right now. The guys in yellow do have victories and technically would be locked into the playoffs, but Ryan Priest has not run a full schedule, so therefore there's going to be some movement there.
Yeah, the 18 car as an owner would be locked into the playoffs, but yeah, Ryan Priest, you have to run the full schedule unless NASCAR says basically, okay, we know you were injured or something. That's not the case with Ryan Priest.
Elliott Sadler in third, Daniel Henrik in fourth, and you see another Junior Motorsports, Justin Allgaier in fifth. Let's check in with Regan Smith, who's down there with the driver sitting seventh in the points right now, Cole Custer.
Cole Custer gets Stewart-Haas Racing, their first pole in their history, but only comes home 8th place today. I know you got to be disappointed to not have that $100,000 in your pocket.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I thought we had a really good shot on it, honestly. I'm happy for Ryan. You know, he's really deserving of it, but our Haas Animation Mustang, everybody sort of worked so hard. I think they deserved it, but just got really tight at the end of that run. We were pretty good on the short run, just cleared the left front. So I don't know, we'll come back better next time.
Unfortunately for Cole, they will not qualify for the Dash for Cash at Richmond.
Well, Regan, let's take a look at who is qualified for the Richmond Dash for Cash. That would be Justin Allgaier, Daniel Henrik, Elliott Sadler, and check out Spencer Gallagher. What a season he's had it, and now he has an opportunity to earn $100,000.
Yeah, Daniel Henrik, the only one that was eligible here, will be eligible at Richmond. Junior Motorsports, nobody here at Bristol, and they get 50% of the eligible drivers at Richmond next weekend.
Daniel Henrik won last year. He won $100,000 here in this race last year, so he knows what that cold, hard cash feels like in his hand. So, old Bristol or new Bristol?
I think we're flirting with the old Bristol.
Flirting with the old. Hey, remember, everything tomorrow is going to be moved up by an hour because of rain in the area. So coverage tomorrow begins with race day on FS1 at 11:30. Race starts at 12:30. We've got a Major League Baseball doubleheader coming up next. Rangers versus Astros. Have a great night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.